Make sure my mic's on. What's up, everybody? Nope. Triple B. Ed, first in the room. So as always, the housekeeping part. We are, by the last time I checked, let me look again real fast. Did it stay? Yes, we are one sub away from 600. So we are 201 subs away from my small goal of the year and 401 away from the big 1K. 1K is kind of the big goal I have set for us this year, but I'll take 800 to be honest with you. Oh man, it's been a week, and I hope y'all have all had an awesome, safe week. I want to say to Nope out there in the chat, man. Uh, Glad y'all okay. They don't have electricity right now, uh, but other than that, they're safe, and that's what really matters. I know not having electricity sucks, but hopefully y'all get that back on soon, man. So I told them earlier, I said, dude, keep us updated because, yeah, walking around with a light, okay, that part's cool. I'd walk around with a lightsaber in the dark. Uh, Also, I wasn't told I could tell who the guest is going to be on the FOC show Friday. All I can say is it's a lock. The very special guest for the experience for Order Up the Final Order Cutoff Show with Matthias Lewis from Nowhere Comics. That's at 1 Eastern, 12 noon on Fridays. One of the earliest shows we have on the EXP. Uh, our special guest is a lock, or it's next Friday. Damn, I don't remember. All I know is the special guest is a lock. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to be running the show, and I'm so excited to when we're able to tell everybody about it. So, um, do have a lot of stuff talk about tonight. There will be spoiler talk. I just want to clear that out right now. For Invincible, I'm going to be jumping around with that, y'all. My brain does not work to where I can do things in a linear way. So I'll be jumping around. Anybody got any questions or any other things they want to throw in the chat? If you're watching Invincible, by all means, throw it up there. Daredevil, we're definitely going to get to that. I wanted to show this off before I bring in my co-host. So just hang tight, boss. I'm going to bring you in a second. So, Sean's boss bought this from, I think it's called Ollie's. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's like maybe a secondhand store or something. And Sean bought it from him and gave it to us. And what this is, holy hell. Oh, check this out. It is what is it, like, yeah, 12 hardcore cover box set of Watchmen. Super dope. It's been a long time since I've actually read Watchmen. I was gonna get the omnibus at one time and ended up not, but that'll go good with our Doomsday Clock and our, what is it called, before Watchmen Rorschach issues that I have. So super dope. Can't wait to break into this. Like I said, it's been a while, but so there's that. All right. So next up, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host. As always, he is the Trivia King, the Weird One, Mr. Eddie Von B.
Hail Hydra. What's up, Nope? Hey, Triple B. How's everybody doing tonight?
Dude, man, it's been just, oh no, these are all, hold on. Ugh. Hold on. These are all hardcovers.
Oh, that's hardcovers?
Yeah, these are all 12 issues or all 12 are hardcover.
When you first held that up, I thought it was going to be like a statue or something.
Bro, I wish.
And I was like, dude, I hope his pants stay on.
If it was a statue, I wouldn't be wearing pants. I might have missed the show by, I don't know, 5-10 minutes maybe. Yeah, just super dope. Sean's like, yeah, and it was under $30 is what he told me.
Oh wow!
And I personally have never seen issues because I believe these are like issues or something in hardcover form. I've never seen that, but nice big ass box set. Super excited to crack into it.
Well,
Uh,
call me stupid, but I always thought The Watchmen was just one graphic novel. I didn't realize there were series of them.
well, neither did I, if I'm being honest. I thought it was just released all at one time.
Yeah, I thought it was like Mouse, just a one-time story type thing.
Yeah, yeah, but super cool. I have nowhere on my shelves right now to put them. Hard case, but soft covers.
Nope, you and I just got to get out of each other's head. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the way I held it up at first, the back end first. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah, you set us up.
yeah, unintentionally, but that's how it goes. But yeah, I remember Note talking about Swampy. I didn't know he had the Hellboy one. That's cool.
Oh, by the way, thanks for the excuse. No, I like your idea of the lightsaber emergency flashlight. Now I have a reason to buy a lightsaber. That sounds epic.
That does like you might not have electricity, but it gives
Can
you
you
enough
imagine
heat.
the whole block is out and you're like whipping around your house and this yellow glowing lightsaber? You go outside.
Well, that's a good question. What color's the lightsaber? Nope. I'm curious. What color's your lightsaber?
Oh, now you're getting personal. Dang.
I am digging deep with Jay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah,
I just went to my doctor. I'm good.
I know. It almost makes me feel like I'm on the art show. We're about to talk about colonoscopies.
Oh Lord.
Poor guy. Nick did that one time, and
See,
Marcus never lets it go.
I had one tattoo put on, and it's on my butt cheek, and it says "exit only." There will be no colonoscopy.
Jeez,
I'm kidding. I don't have any tattoos.
that's hilarious, though. So, real quick before I get into, like I said, we're gonna. Don't worry if you're here for the spoiler talk or you just want to talk about Invincible and Daredevil. We are going to get into that. I promise. Just a couple of things I picked up right before the show. So apparently they released a poster. So in 2023, they were going to be doing a Toxic Avenger reboot with Peter Dinklage. Apparently it's set to come out August of this year.
Dude, how did I not hear about this?
I don't know. I remember reading something about it and I was like, ah,
Is it trauma?
I believe so. I believe so. If there's anybody out there that knows, I think it is. Maybe oh, let's see. Production company, Legendary Pictures and Trauma Entertainment.
Cool. I didn't even know Trauma was still putting stuff out. I haven't heard from them in years.
You know, Lloyd Kaufman has he's part of the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, he what was it? He's been in a well, I remember him from Guardians. I think he might have been in a couple other things, but
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so there's the poster, and then Entertainment Weekly released. Now, there's a lot of people that are going to look at this and be like, "That looks terrible." To which I say,
I love it.
go watch go watch the Toxic Avenger, okay? It's it's not great, but it's great. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
absolutely great. It's trauma great. If you like trauma, you're gonna
yeah,
love it. If you don't like trauma and you think they're stupid, you're gonna think it's stupid.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know, man. Like when they said Peter Dinklage, I'm like, okay. Like for some reason I was like, okay, I can Peter Dinklage as Toxie. That's going to be something special.
That's worth the price of admission.
Yeah. So, next up, we're going to be talking about Invincible, like I said. Hold on just a second. Come on, buddy. My dog's going crazy. He's waiting for Jenna to get home. Um, we're going to be talking about Invincible, and just recently, I found out we're going back to the Invincible universe in the comics, and they're going to be doing a Battle Beast comic. Battle Beast is such a great character. Um, he is always looking for a fight. As the kids say, he just wants to smoke. His main goal in life is to try to find somebody who can beat him. He's just an awesome character. Ed, have you watched any of the Invincible stuff or read any Invincible?
I've not watched any of it, no, but I have read some of them. But I'll
Hmm.
tell you what, that name up there's got me interested. Kirkman.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was his longest running comic. Was Invincible,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy that did The Walking Dead. I can't remember which one came first, but The Walking Dead I've read. Jeez, come on, stop! Ugh, crazy dog. The Walking Dead I've read. We've got a couple of the trades. Invincible. My goal is to one day own all 25 volumes. I think this series is like what is it, 13, 15 years long or something. Uh, this was a book, Invincible, that I hopped on way. I say way too late, but I hopped on, and I think a good time because soon after I started reading, that's when they announced, "Hey, we're going to be doing a live action, and we're going to be doing a an animated show." Now, the way it happened with me, and I'll pop back up to this one before we go on. The way it happened with me was I heard everybody talking about it, and I was like, you know what? Eventually, it's on the list. I'll eventually check it out. Well, I was in the comic shop one day, and Image got me with their 9.99 volume one. So I was like, yeah, why not? So I grabbed it and I read it. And the first issue of it I read, I was like, you know what? This is good. This is good. Like I wouldn't mind reading more of this. I can get into this. It wasn't really until I got to a certain part of that volume where I understood why people love Invincible. Like after that, I was like, okay, I gotta get the next volume. I gotta get the next one. I gotta get the next one. I think we have six out of the 25, and the 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 volumes we have are like one, two, three, four, five, and then up to like nine. I think is where I skipped. What's up, Sean and Nine Panel? How's it going? Um, but yeah, it wasn't like Saga. Like everybody talks about Saga. Saga hooked me from like the very first page of it that I read. Um, but this one, as soon as I got into it, I got into it. And once the cartoon came on, I was all about it. This last Wednesday on the Kyle and A Q&A, I had a Kyle and J Q&A. Jeez, uh, I had a question for Kyle, and I should have added the animated part in there to begin with, but I forgot about it. But Jenna had asked me after we got done watching, I think one or two episodes before the season finale that was this past Thursday. Um, she goes, "How can they do this in live action?" And I got to thinking about that, and I was like, "Man, that is a great question." There's so much stuff here. I don't know because this show, if you haven't watched it, is like very very accurate to the comics, but it speeds the process along. Like there is stuff that happens very many volumes down the road that they're already starting to do now, but it works. Like for me, the first season was top notch. Second season was good. I can definitely rewatch it. Not as strong as season one, but it introduced a lot of stuff that's gonna pay off later on. And then this past season, this was just like I can't wait for more already. Now we got to wait another 2 years for season 4. I don't know if that's the actual thing, but yeah, it's really good. So they're bringing back Battle Beast, and this one was just the regular A cover. I got a couple of covers here I want to show off. Um, you know, Jimmy, man, it's very hard for me, especially with the characters kind of switch back and forth a lot. I'm always torn between Alan the alien and Battle Beast. Even though I think Alan shows up a bit more, but again, I'm not all the way through the story yet. I'm still slowly making my way. But it's Alan. I mean, don't get me wrong, Invincible. I love Mark, but there's just something about Alan and Battle Beast that I really really dig. How about you, Jimmy? Who's your favorite? Anybody in the chat reading that have read Invincible or just watching the show? Let me know who your favorite character is. I'm really interested.
I've always loved Battle Beast.
Yeah, and
Obviously, I mean that's right up my alley.
he's voiced by Michael Dorn in the show.
Really?
Yes,
Worf?
yes,
I never knew that.
yes. Like the folks they have for the voice cast, and I'll get into that when we start talking about it. It's top notch, top notch. So this is a B cover by David Finch. The next one I got was a really interesting one. It's a blind bag, and without going into too much detail about it on the FOC show this past Friday, because Matthias can't talk about it because he's a retailer and he kind of knows what's going on with it. He said there's extra things in these blind bags. It's not just the comic, or it very well isn't just this comic. So if anybody's super excited for this and you want to go the blind bag route, I'd say do it. You might want to pick up a couple. Sorry, there we go. You might want to pick up a couple of them because apparently they all have different stuff. I know that's kind of like uh, not scarcity, but kind of like I don't know. Some people complain about doing things like this. I personally think it's fine. You know, I did blind buys with Pops when Hot Topic had those. It's a fun thing to do for me. For those of you who are into sketches, they also have this white blank cover. And if it was me, I would definitely want to get a splash of different characters on it. But you know, there's some folks might want a Wolverine on this one. Who knows? But then we got this one was really cool. So it says it's a die cut cover. It's a mask die cut cover, and the reason I picked this one was last night on Friday Night Live. Um, Nancy had I want to say it was a GI Joe book that had something very similar to this, and I asked her. I said, "Is that die cut? Is that considered die cut?" And then when I looked it up and this says mask die cut, I said, "Okay." So this is a foil mask die cut variant, which means that part of Battle Beast that you see, it kind of wraps around to the back, and you can. I don't know why you'd want to take it off, but if you felt inclined to do so, you could. And this is a Ryan Otley, I believe I got on the ticker here. Yeah, Ryan Otley, the one of the artists for the Invincible series. Then, just because I think I'm becoming a huge fan of this dude, this I want to say, yeah, is the Bjorn Berens, but this one is a 616 Comics exclusive. But Bjorn Berens, if you haven't watched Comic Collectibles on Monday or Wednesday and seen the art that he's done for Space Ghost and some other things, his art is wild. I really, really dig this cover.
I was gonna say the B cover really talked to me, but now this one, dang, I like this one.
Yeah, and the B was the David Finch one, right? This one?
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah,
But damn, that last Virgin cover was amazing.
yeah, yeah. So talk about Invincible just a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna skip around because another thing that I have on here is a live action kind of fan cast. Uh, well, I might want to do that real fast. We're gonna get into the stuff, man. I promise. I promise. We're only 20 minutes in. It's usually a 2 hour show. Um, so talking about live action, and I understand not everything needs a live action. Um, this show, the cartoon is so good. Evan Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen are still, I think, writing and producing the live action. So I had some characters I chose, and I did these as shorts a while back. So if you've already watched the shorts, you might know most of these. First one I got up is one of my choices to play Invincible, and this is Ryan Potter. Uh, Ryan Potter played Beast Boy on the Titan show on the DC Universe app. I think it's on Max now. I can't remember. I haven't watched it in a while. But he's also been in a really awesome. If you have not seen it, there's a fan filmed Batman Beyond where he plays Terry McGinnis. So if you haven't checked that out, search that on YouTube. It's excellent. But this was my first pick for Invincible was Ryan Potter. The next pick I had Derek Liu from Gen V. I don't know if anybody out there has watched Gen V. He played I can't remember the character he played, but it was like a dual role with another actor. But I was like, if we couldn't get Ryan Potter, I like this guy. And at any time, folks, if there's anybody y'all want to throw out there who y'all think would be a good pick, by all means, throw them out there. I'm always open to suggestions. Um, then for Omni Man, I did one that I know I'm probably gonna get some hate for, but I don't care. Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill, because I mean, folks talked about how he pretty much played Omni Man for his Superman anyway. I don't believe that, but there's a lot of people said that. I just think he is actually a switchable character with another person I have um, down the road to play another character. They're kind of interchangeable, and when I get to them, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. But yeah, Henry Cavill for Nolan Grayson Omni Man. I think he'd kill it. I'm a huge fan of Cavill. I know he'd take it seriously and respect it. So
So
uh,
that's not a cover?
no,
Oh, I
no,
was gonna say, holy crap, what a reveal.
no. These are when I make shorts. I do a lot of downloading and background removing, and then add in a background, and then just put stuff together. So I took these from my short video. Um, Now Debbie Grayson, you could probably go with Sandra Oh, but I went with Ming Na Wen. Uh, I have loved Ming Na Wen since Street Fighter. She looks about exactly the same as she did when she was in Street Fighter. She's no stranger to playing, comic book and nerd like roles. She was in The Mandalorian. She was in Agents of Shield. Street Fighter, obviously. Um, but yeah, I think she'd make an awesome Debbie Grayson. The next one I got is the Mahler twins, and I got Ethan Suplee. Now, Ethan Suplee, I've been a fan of this guy since he was on Boy Meets World, and seeing his transformation over the years, he's just a beast now. And I was like, you know what? Having him play both the Mahler twins, I think would be just chef's kiss money right there. Whew. And next up, Ed's gonna recognize this dude because who I picked for Battle Beast This was way before
Oh,
Olivia Richter's for Battle Beast. Now, this was me. Usually, when I used to do fan casts, I would go by looks only. When I found out this guy was actually an actor as well, as being 7 feet tall, 360 pounds of pure muscle, I was like, okay, if I had, if I wanted to cast Battle Beast in live action, this is 100% the guy that I would go with. 100%. Um, I've gotten to see clips of him in Reacher, so I think this dude could pull it off. The next one I got is kind of a dual role kind of thing. All right. And this was, again, I did this quite a while ago. Uh, Back when one of these actors that I chose was kind of bigger. And he's kind of slimmed down now. But I imagine this role is kind of like Sweet Tooth. So for Alan the Alien, the on screen would be Batista and the voice would still be Seth Rogen. Because I'm sorry, folks, Seth Rogen, hearing him voice Alan, that's all I hear now when I see Alan in a comic. I only hear Seth Rogen. And I was like, I don't think Seth could pull on the on set, but I definitely want Seth to continue doing the voice work. Because, like I said, if you haven't watched, I just said it, the Metal, goodness, it's the show with Sweet Tooth in it. It's on Peacock. It's got Anthony Mackie in it too. Not heavy metal, but I can't remember what it's called. Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal. They have Samoa Joe is Sweet Tooth, and I think Will Forte, not Will Forte. I can't remember now, but they have somebody else do the voice. So it's Joe doing all the acting, but somebody else doing the voice. And I think that's cool, and that's exactly what I would love to see for Alan in a movie.
the wrestler Samoa Joe?
Yeah,
Cool. I didn't know he acted.
yeah. He was actually the voiceover for King Shark in that Suicide Squad game too.
Oh,
So he
nice.
does some voice acting, and he's been in some other stuff too. But the next one I got on my list, we've only seen this guy in the show a little bit, and I always think the name is Craig, but maybe it's Krieg. Somebody can. That's true. He was amazing in Paul. Paul, very underrated movie. Um, it's either Krieg or Craig. I can never remember, but Mark Strong, just because Mark Strong could literally play anybody. Like Mark Strong is just that actor that I want to see him in everything. I want him to be that guy that's like, oh, we need an evil guy. Get Mark Strong. His Sinestro was fantastic. I wish we could have seen more of that. His Dr. Savannah for Shazam, definitely wanted to see more of that. Kingsman, both the Kingsman movies, he was great in those. I mean, Kick Ass. The guy is just legendary, and I would love to see him play this Vulture Knight. Only got a couple more, folks. Don't worry. Um, so the next one I got is, and again, this is a name that I just heard. I want to say it's Anissa, or maybe it's Anissa, but I got Sasha Kaye. You might notice the flap top there. That's because the picture I got, the top of it was cut off. But Sasha Kaye, I really, really enjoyed her in the Flash movie. She was one of the most enjoyable parts of the Flash movie for me. I thought her Supergirl was great. Very sad we're not going to see any more from her in that aspect. And I thought, how cool would it be since she played a superhero that did have a chip on her shoulder in that movie? Why not bring her into this universe and just make her evil? And I'm talking, she's really, really evil. Um, Next one I got up is a character that we've only seen like once, but they got a nice little arc in the comics. This is Lucan and Terry Crews. I mean, if you've ever seen Terry Crews with the full mustache, Terry Crews is this character. I don't know if they based this guy off of Terry Crews or what, but Terry Crews, another person I'm a huge fan of. So then for one like one of the other really big badasses in the Viltrumite, in the Viltrum Empire, Grand Regent Thrag, and I chose Joe Manganiello. Now, I could also flip Joe Manganiello as Thrag and put him as Omni Man and take Henry Cavill and make Henry Cavill Thrag. Like these are two kind of interchangeable actors for characters. But Joe Manganiello playing a superhero. I mean, let's go. First time I ever saw Joe was the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, and then seeing his change from that to what he looked like in True Blood, and the fact that he stayed kind of this big imposing figure, I think he'd be a perfect Viltrumite. Perfect. And the last one I got, and I know he's not here because he's working. I asked him before I did this. He was tickled when I did this. Conquest, our good buddy, John Castle Spiliotopoulos. I literally had sent him a message and was like, "Hey man, would you be all right if I cast you in something?" And he was like, "Yeah, go for it." So the funny thing about this is Castle couldn't be any farther away from Conquest as a human being. Okay, that's what I think is the funniest part about it. I was like, these are basically foils, but I would love to have, because to me, Castle could be a Viltrumite. Like the dude is superhuman looking to begin with. So that was probably one of his many middle names in high school. Nope.
Nice, nope. Very nice.
And then, of course, as always, the last thing I got on here, I know you can see it on his avatar, Ed's channel.
Ugh, you're killing me.
Always, man. I'm always. I don't even care. I can't wait till you have stuff on there. Because if you think I'm pushing it now, wait till you start getting stuff on there. So make sure you sub up to that. So get back to this.
Can we talk
Invincible.
about? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
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 no.
no. What's up?
I just for a quick second wanted to talk about something you brought up, and that was the blind box stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing those. Those are fun, up to a point.
Yeah,
When it starts becoming like a $25, I want to know what I'm buying.
yeah.
But you know those little bag clips that they have that you can buy that have little characters on them, and you clip them on your backpack. I actually got into buying blind bag when they would do the Universal Monsters, or they would do like horror icon ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got probably 40 or 50 of them now, and I use those to decorate my black Halloween tree. They're my ornaments. I slide the key ring over the branch of my black Halloween tree, and it's all bag clips. And
Dude,
it
that's
looks
smart.
awesome.
That's smart.
I loved it because if you try to buy a horror ornament, they're like $30.
Yeah.
But those bag clips, I like them. I really do. I even got some of the garbage pail, some of the grocer, and yes, I did get Evil Eddie, which made my day. And then I got one of those little those flat masks you can buy to like hang on your wall.
Yeah.
They had like a 3-inch one of Michael Myers. He's the angel on top of the tree. And I have two white lights that shine through his eyes. I love it.
Oh,
It's still in my room. It's still, and I want to put that, if I do start doing videos, I want that in my background somewhere. I love it.
dude,
That's
that's
all.
awesome.
But yeah, blind bags are fun, but it's crazy. Some people buy $30, $40 blind bags. I'm like, I'm sorry. My money comes too hard. I can't give $40 on something I might not like.
Yeah.
But those bag clips, heck, they were only like $3, and I'm like, heck, I'll do those all day.
Yeah, we used to get mystery minis from Funko.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really do too many of them that we like anymore. But we were getting like the very first one we pulled was a Bloody Glen that was like a super expensive one apparently. But we went to like Target or something, and I just saw it on the end cap, and I was like, "Oh, these look fun." I grabbed one, we bought it. Then we ended up getting the entire set of that series,
Nice.
but they were only like $5 or $6 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got some doubles sometimes, but nothing too much to where I'm like, you know what, I don't ever want to do this again. Like
Right.
I'm expecting getting a double or so, especially doing blind bags and picking through them and stuff. And there's some folks that will weigh them and all they know the box setup kind of ruins the fun for me.
Yeah, I know a lot of the sales shows. Am I gone or just my picture?
Just your picture.
Okay. I know some of the sales shows like doing blind bags with comics, and here's a $40 blind bag, but I guarantee you the comics inside are going to be worth more than $40. I'm like, that's great for a beginning collector that is surprised. But if I bought a blind bag of 10 comics and they were all like superhero comics or comics that I already had, because I'm pretty much just horror indie, I'm going
Yeah.
to be ticked if I spent $40 and don't like any of them.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that part of it. But yeah, when it's something cheap and fun and you don't care, sure. But those big pricey ones, I'm out.
Yeah, see, in my blind bag thing is I don't normally care about the value
Me either. I
of a
want to read
comic.
them.
So if you tell me, if you spend $40, there's a book in here that's $100, and then it's a book I don't like.
Right.
Yeah, granted, I can flip it probably, or maybe I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I don't care how much the book is worth. I just want a book that I'm gonna like.
We're on the same page. That's exactly how I feel. People, if you're buying them to flip them or you're buying them to try to use as retirement, then I could see getting excited about it. But they don't even say, now if they said this was a horror blind bag, sure, I might go for it. But
Yeah,
when they just say it's a blind bag, I could get it, and not to offend anyone, but if they were all My Little Pony, I wouldn't care if they were worth $200. I'd be angry
yeah,
because I want to read what I buy.
yeah. Well, 100%. So we're gonna start off. I'm gonna start off with a little bit of Invincible talk because, like I said, we just watched. Hey, Corey, what's going on, boss?
Hey,
Uh,
Corey.
we just watched the season finale last night. Now, for those of that have been watching, this season has just been fire the whole season. A lot of people who know the show. It's violent. It goes there. It's done some stuff that I'm like, wow. I I, I know it happens in the comics, but man, I cannot believe that they've done this and going all the way back to the first season. You watch that first episode, and Mark gets his powers, and we're watching that, and we're like, this is just going to be for those the uninitiated who haven't read the comics. Oh, this is just going to be another superhero show. It's just a superhero in training. Blah blah blah. Then we get to the end of that episode, and what it does, and what I thought was super interesting was the episode ends, and then there's like 2 seconds. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just letting it grow out till Superman, and then I'm getting it cut off. Um, the episode ends. There's like 2 or 3 seconds of black, and then it goes to the scene. And that scene, again, spoilers, folks, is Omni Man wrecking their Justice League, the Guardians of the Globe. And it's got some of the most brutal kills. Like, he is squeezing heads, he is rotating heads, he's smashing them. He grabs their Batman analog, I think his name is Darkwing, grabs him by his leg and just smashes him on the ground, and his head just explodes. And man, I can only be so lucky, Corey. Um, and he goes up to the last. I want to say it's the last Guardian that's alive, Mister Immortal, or the Immortal. It's the Immortal. Mister Immortal is Marvel. The Immortal, and he just chops the dude's head off. Now I didn't know this until I read the comic. When I first saw that scene in the comic, I was like, man, he's gonna get away with this. There's no witnesses. Then you find out that the Immortal, the reason he's called the Immortal, is he could be dismembered, he could be smashed, he could be shot, all that stuff. But as long as his body parts are near each other, he comes back to life. This dude apparently was Abraham Lincoln. So gives you kind of an idea. He's been around for a long time. So we go through the show with that knowledge. I'm rewatching the first season right now, and there's a character named Damien Darkblood. He's a demon detective. Pretty sure he's voiced by Clancy Brown. Um, he's on Nolan's trail, and he ends up. I'm at the episode where he's sent back to hell, but they're getting closer and closer to revealing that, yeah, Omni Man did it. And I gotta say about this voice cast, Stephen Yoon, I think that's how you say his name. He played Glenn on The Walking Dead as Mark Grayson, Invincible. This guy's range in this show, especially in this last season, is just phenomenal. Like, he is so underrated. If he doesn't win some kind of award for this show, I'm gonna be very upset. Then you got Sandra Oh as Debbie Grayson. You got Walter Goggins as Cecil Stedman. You have J.K. Simmons as Omni Man Nolan Grayson. J.K. Simmons, jeez, this dude is terrifying. He's terrifying, but he's so good. He's so good.
It's funny when you showed the Omni Man picture. That's the first guy I thought of. It looked just like Jay Jonah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
There's probably a running joke somewhere in there that's what he's Jay Jonah from a different universe.
Jay Jonah on steroids.
Yeah, because Image does this thing, and they've done it with Spawn before, where especially I want to say in season 2 they do this. Because we introduce Angstrom Levy, who is a person who can open portals to different universes. They go through one, and there's basically Spider-Man and Doc Ock. They don't tell you, they're not legally those characters. But it's Spider-Man and Doc Ock. Then he goes to another one where I'm telling you he's talking to Batman. So there's there's some ways they get away with doing things. They let your imagination kind of work out, but I mean it's pretty obvious who some of these characters that they cameo. It's like I said, Spawn does the same thing in the comics. There's a whole section, and I can't remember what issue it is, where they go down to like this level of hell, and there's all these cages, and you can tell that Superman's in there and Wonder Woman's in there and a bunch of other characters. Um, they've actually had cameos of other characters too, like in the Image universe, like Savage Dragon. Um, Jeez. Again, my dog doesn't know how to sit still. It's like a kid with too much sugar. Um, but yeah, this the voice cast in this is great. Um, Jason Montezukis, I terrible with his name, but he's a character that if you heard his voice, you'd be like, wow, I've heard him in things like Big Mouth. He guest starred on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Batman 2 is in that one. Batman is in that issue. It's been a long time since I read it. Um, but he's awesome as Rex Splode. There's just the voice acting in here is phenomenal, and again bringing up Stephen Yoon and going back to season 3, they did a very small Invincible War episode, and what the Invincible War is Angstrom Levy, who you thought Mark demolished in season 2, is brought, like, kind of fixed and brought back, and he goes and he gets all. Apparently, every other Invincible in the multiverse is evil. There's not another good one. It feels like. So he goes and he gets all these different Invincibles. There's Omnivincible, Mohawk Invincible. I can't even remember how to say the dude's name, but he's one with a mohawk. He's like the craziest one there is. There's Kid Omni Man. Um, all these different versions of Mark, and Stephen Yeun does the voices for all of them, and they're all so different and also unique. Like the Mohawk Invincible is just he's crazy, and you can hear it in his voice and the things he says. Omnivincible is very subtle, and then there's like no goggles Invincible. There's a bunch of them, but Stephen Yeun just he voices all of them so great. And if you haven't started watching Invincible yet, folks out there, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It is a really great show. It is. It's when it's a show that Kyle's like the cartoon is great. You know, it's probably got something there.
Where does
'Cause,
it stream?
it's on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hold on.
Stephen Yeun was really good in Goonies.
Goonies.
Yeah, that guy that I can't remember his name. That after he got hit by Negan, he looked just like that. Hey, you guys!
Oh no, no!
As soon as it showed Glenn get hit, that's the first thing I thought of was that guy from Goonies. I can't remember his name, but
Sloth.
yes, you put the picture of him and a picture of Sloth side by side, and tell me that
Oh,
that's not the same person.
Popeyes, Coral. Popeyes. Oh goodness,
I
man.
always remember you.
Here's what. Okay, here's what's funny about that. So you got Stephen Yeun.
Uh-huh.
You had Michael Cudlitz as one of the Guardians of the Globe. He was like their Flash analog. So you had Michael Cudlitz. You had Lauren Cohen, who was in the
Yep, couple.
couple seasons.
Yep.
You had Baby Ruth. Um, and in this season, as Conquest, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Really.
And oh
Walking Dead reunion.
man, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is another one of those people that he is a comic book nerd, and I love that. I love that about it. He is definitely a comic book person.
You ever watch his and Daryl's podcast?
I did not know they had one.
Yeah, they have one where they go riding cross country on their bikes because they've been best friends in real life, and they're bikers. And they go to different cities and try different things together, and you get people who will recognize them and some who won't. And they've put out quite a few episodes. You might want to check it out sometime.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that Norman Reedus had one. I
That's
didn't
what
know.
that's what I said. I said Daryl, and I didn't know his real name. It was Morgan Dean and Daryl from Walking Dead.
Right. I'd never seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan on it though.
Oh yeah, he's on quite a few of them. They've got one where they basically backpack their way across Europe, and it's hilarious listening to them talk and react, especially after seeing how much they hate each other on the show.
Here, just in case you didn't hear last time, Jimmy, we got Battle Beast and Alan the Alien are kind of like a toss up for me as far as favorite characters go.
Battle Beast for me. And I think you did a really good fan casting on that, by the way. I
Thank
didn't
you.
disagree with any of those, brother. Those were good. And that dude from Reacher, I can never remember his name, the giant. Um,
Uh, Olivier Olivier Richter's
yes,
or his name in the show.
no, his real name. I
Okay.
know his name in the show, but
Okay.
in I don't know. I'm bad with real names. But anyway, I saw an interview with him, and they were talking about Reacher season 3, and they said we've heard that there's been a lot of injuries, and he was talking, and he goes, "That's because Alan is crazy. When we did the fight scenes, I didn't know they were going to be real fight scenes, but he was like, I want your best. So of course I was like, then I want your best." And he's talking about all the bruises and torn muscles that they had after their fight scene because they were really hitting each other and they wanted to take their best shots. I'm like, you guys are nuts. But can you imagine them two going at it for real? It's no wonder they were sore.
Good choices. Yeah. I don't. Man. I don't. Alan's another person who.
Batman.
Yeah. And he told people he was just like they wouldn't even have to pay me.
Yeah, I know. He said that several times. He has dropped that hint so many times, but I haven't heard anybody picking it up yet.
No, because there are some people out there like, oh, I don't want a huge Batman.
I couldn't disagree with that more.
Hey, what's up, Phable?
Hey, Fable! Did you
Um,
give him my Instagram?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I did. But yeah, so like I said, Invincible is just Invincible 100. Are they? You know, there's going to be a day, Corey, I hope. And like I said, I want it to be through Nick. But I would like to own a piece of original art. That's like one thing. I got sketch covers. I have, signed stuff, things like that. We have this one book that Jenna got. I think it's a Dreadstar book. The thing's like, you can't really see, but like this big. And it kind of looks like when you open it, it looks like art pages because it's that big.
Hmm.
But I don't have any like original art. I have in the sense of Tracy sent me that Superman painting. I have that kind of original art, but original comic book art. One of these days, I want to get one, and I want it to be. I want a Superman one, and I definitely want an Invincible page.
I
But
got
those
one. I got one, and it's a page from Henri's
Warline,
War Lion. And I bought it, and I was so excited to get it, and I wasn't even thinking that it was going to be black and white. So I got it and I framed it, but I have no idea. I had to go to the comic and look at the page number to see what it was, and then I could kind of make it out. But by God, I got one.
yeah, and see, I like when Nick does this on the show sometimes. So you saw the colored
Yes,
uh, blanking
Silverhawks.
Silverhawks. There you go. He had that one. Well, when he did the other covers, he had Amy send me the actual covers. So I showed the line art, and then I was able to show what the cover looked like.
Oh, that's cool.
So those were the covers. Like when you popped on the colored, like the Batman vampire one, the DC versus
Mhm.
Vampire Killers.
Mhm.
The one I was showing before that was the out like the pencils.
Well, man, if they're gonna keep doing that, I'll start watching it more.
I'm going to ask him when he does have covers like that, if we can go ahead and show
That'd be
the
cool.
because I mean he does it sometimes, and there's other times he's so busy he doesn't think about doing it, or he'll
Right.
he'll ask me in the middle of the show, hey, can you run and see if you can find this, and I'll do it, but I would love to be able to check Daniel Warren Johnson stuff for transport. Yeah, that's the thing about what Nick does is Nick has a very huge range of original art. Like there's stuff I've seen before that was $25, and there's stuff I've seen that's gone up to $25,000. Uh, there was that first appearance of Spider Boy. He had every page and sold every page on the show. That was a wild show, by the way. Like,
Hmm.
but yeah,
I've never seen anything that cheap. Whenever I'm watching, it seems like the cheapest thing's like $600. I'm like, I'm out.
well, yesterday he had a couple. Like, granted, I say only, but comparatively, he had some like $200 pieces.
It would be cool to see the art though, because that's the biggest reason. I like talking and chatting to everybody, but when everybody's oohing and ahhing over what he's showing, and I'm like, I wish I could see it. So
Yeah,
I usually do something else. But if he's gonna start having some colored slides or something, that'd be cool.
yeah. I'm gonna talk. I'll talk to him about it. And like I said, most of the time, if he sends me covers, even if they don't send me the colored cover, I can usually just look it up and just be like, hey, let's show this one for Ed's not the only one who can't see black and white. I'm pretty sure. I think if we did something like that, we could start bringing in some people that maybe like the only reason they don't watch the art shows they can't see the art.
That was crazy that you got over 90 likes last night. Is that the most you've had?
Oh no, Nick, I can tell y'all right now, Nick's show is about the most popular show we have on the experience. Like 90's good, trust me, 90 is nothing to sneeze at. I think the highest we've gotten is over 100 though,
Huh.
while the show was going.
Well, like I said, I haven't been to many of them, but it was
Yeah,
cool for me to see 90 likes. I was like, wow, the most I'd ever seen is like 50 something on Rex's show, and that's been a while.
yeah. Nick's show is very, I keep telling Nick because there are times, Nick gets so busy and he's like, man, I'm not going to have any art tonight. We're just going to talk. And I was like, dude, I don't think you understand, man. Yeah, people come for the art, but they really come here to hang out with you and hear your stories. And sometimes that doesn't, Nick doesn't feel that way no matter what we try to tell him. Like, dude, the art's just kind of like the bonus.
Hmm.
We're there because, we love listening to him talk. So I mean, even if you can't, like me, even if when I wasn't working the show, I would watch it just because I love hearing Nick's stories about things. Because I mean, Nick has a lot of knowledge, and that art stuff. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, folks in the chat ask me about the art, and I'm like, dude, all I can say is that's pretty. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the knowledge like Nick and other folks do. I just know that page looks cool. This page looks cool. I don't have enough body parts to sell to get this one.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would love to get an art page, and my first art page will come from Nick. I know it. But yeah, we get to the end of this. We got to the end of this season, and like I said, they speed up events. So if you've read the comics, you might get spoiled on some stuff, but it's a show that I would say if you've ever read the comics and you like the comics, I would tell you to give it a shot. You got 3 seasons to go through. I want to say they're like 8 episodes a piece, and then you have like an Adam Eve special that's really cool. And the show's funny. It's not all violence. The show is they got some pretty good gags in there too. There's one in I think season 2 where Mark meets an artist for his favorite comic, and in the comics it's called Science Dog, but in the show it's called Seance Dog. I don't know why they couldn't get the rights, but whatever. But he meets the artist for it, and they're talking about animation, and they're like, they do a lot of things to save on animations and TV shows. They're making fun of the fact that it took so long to get season 2 out there. So the guy's telling most of the time if they want to save on animation, they show a shot of people, but they're not walking, but you hear noises behind it, and then it goes to a shot of people and they're not moving, it's just noises behind them to simulate walking around a con. They hide people's faces like this while they're talking so they don't have to animate the lips moving, and then Mark's like, that's really interesting. Like it's a they make
Clever.
yeah, they poke fun at themselves, and it's clever and it's funny. So like I said, it's yes, it's violent. They do some real violent stuff, but you know what? The comics are also pretty violent. So I would tell you, if you're a fan of Invincible at all, give the show a shot. Um, and let me know. Come back to this live later once it does the thing where it uploads and you can comment.
For
Come
those
back.
people who know nothing about it, what is it, real quick?
Okay, so Invincible is set in a world where superheroes exist, obviously, and the most powerful one is one named Omni Man. Omni Man is a Viltrum from the planet Viltrum. They're Viltrumites, is what they're called. And when he comes here, it's 20 years or something like that. He meets a human named Debbie. They fall in love, get married, have a son. When the son is about 4 or 5, they tell this in flashback in the comic. He tells him about his planet. He says, you're going to start. He basically gives him the puberty talk, but then turns it into, but then you're also going to notice enhanced strength and all this stuff. And while he's not a part of this Justice League, he's kind of like the Batman where, you have the Justice League and Batman will come and help sometimes. In some stories, I know Batman's part of the Justice League. I know that. He's kind of like the outside person that comes and helps. Well, he tells everyone that his people foster peace. They go to planets to help the planets out, to pull them out of the mud, to bring them up to speed with technology and things like that. Well, you find out, no, it's not what it is at all. He was sent there to prime the Earth for the Viltrums to take over. The Viltrums are a warring race where only the strongest survive. These folks fight each other, and whoever lives is the strongest. They're a very brutal race. Well, they also, when they go to these other planets, they mate with the population and try to have these like Viltrum, whatever planet they're on, hybrids. And that's later. Omni Man has another wife later on. Um, but basically, he goes and he decides, well, Mark has his powers because Mark hasn't had his powers yet. Mark spends the first part of the book getting bullied, getting picked on. He has a job, and he goes to throw the trash out, and just randomly, he basically throws the trash, you think, into space, but he actually just throws it like states away. And he's just like, finally. He goes home, he tells his dad. Well, near the end of the second or third issue, Omni Man decides, okay, it's time. Mark has his powers. It's time. First thing he does is he takes out the Guardians of the Globe, smashes them all. He's trying to convince Mark to join him and, embrace his Viltrumite side. Viltrum's coming to take over the planet. You might as well be on the right side. Doesn't happen. Mark ends up fighting his father, gets the snot beat out of him, which is kind of a recurring theme in Invincible. Invincible's tough, but he sure does get his ass kicked a lot. So the of uh, end of the first trade, maybe right before it, is Omni Man leaves. He has Mark pretty much dead to rights, and he's like, we'll last for hundreds of years. All these things around you will die. What will you have then? And Mark tells him, I'd have you, Dad. And something clicks in Omni Man, and he leaves. He doesn't kill Mark, he leaves. He goes off planet. This whole time he's having this conversation, Mark's wearing an earbud. So the whole planet, like all the GDA, the Global Defense Agency, is like the shield of this universe. They're hearing everything that Omni Man's saying. He never loved Debbie. Debbie was just a pet, and Debbie's hearing this the whole time too. So imagine being in love and married to somebody for 20 years just to hear that person call you a pet, that they never really loved you. Like it's some deep heartbreaking stuff. So it is a superhero book, folks. It really is, but it's so much more. Like if you're somebody who is kind of tired of the deconstructed superhero, where we're going to take superheroes and they're all going to be evil, which that's fine. Trust me, I like the boys. Okay, I like stories like that too. But this is a superhero story, but it's also about family, kind of like Fast and Furious. Uh, it's about the life that these superheroes lead, who they can trust, who they can tell. It's not always a superhero stays good through the whole thing. There are heroes that turn into villains, villains that turn into heroes, heroes that turn into villains that turn back into heroes. But it's if you want something that's just such a good read that you might want to get you a couple of trades before you dig into it, this is definitely one of those stories. It's unlike anything I've ever read. So that's my pitch, my very long ass pitch for it, but that's my pitch for Invincible.
Yeah, but you can tell that you love it, that your passion was coming
Oh,
out while you were talking about it. So thank you for doing that.
you are welcome. Like this is one of those shows that like if somebody told me, "Hey man, you can only read two characters, two comics for the rest of your days." What are they going to be? Well, I'm going to do Superman, of course, but I'm going to do Invincible as well. And Invincible has many, so many volumes. Like I said, 25 volumes, and now we're getting that Battle Beast series. Like no necklace to give away. Every episode like F and F. Fast and Furious. Okay, Fast. I was like F and F. What is? Yeah, Fast and Furious. Yeah, but it really is. And Fable, I hope I didn't spoil too much of it for you, man. I really think that you would dig this. I really think you would. So if you're like Fable and you haven't yet, I think you can still find Volume One for like $10 under. Read that and then watch the first season. The like I said, they follow so closely to the comics, they just speed up some of the events.
In your opinion,
So,
can you watch the cartoon without reading the comic first?
oh, absolutely,
Oh, okay.
absolutely, you absolutely can't. Like, if you're just somebody who you just want a funny, violent superhero thing to watch, that's not the boys. Uh, the I would definitely suggest Invincible.
Who couldn't want funny and violent? Come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fable, that is perfect. Thank you. Yes, it is like a love letter to superhero comics. Invincible is. They get deep in those books, man. They do. They get deep, and you can't. It's like you can't stop. Like the other day, I was like, you know what? Let me go reread some of my Invincible trades. And right before I started, I was like, you know what? Let me watch the show because if I start digging into these trades now, I'm gonna spend the next couple of hours just reading them all because once I start reading that story, I read up to what I have. It's that good. Like it is to me my second favorite superhero book is Invincible. That's my probably my second favorite superhero is Invincible. Like I like a lot of different characters, but you give me an Invincible book, I'm just
And when
I'll
did
read
they
it cover to
debut?
cover. Hmm?
And when did they debut?
When did they debut Invincible?
Yeah,
The comic
the
itself?
comic. Yeah.
Let me check. I want to say it's 2000. Let me see. Hold, please. Started it in January of 2003 and it ran for 25 volumes until February of 2018.
Wow. And it's your second favorite of all time. That's saying something.
Yeah,
Especially when you mention it in the same sentence with Superman. Wow.
yeah. Like I. Oh, was it 2002? Oh well, okay. I think 2002 is when like there was like a first appearance or something because I think he appeared in a book called Tech Jacket, but the actual series it says 2003.
Hmm.
Awesome. Um, but yeah, like I love Deadpool, but it'd be so hard for me to rank my favorites after Superman because Superman's always the top. That's like that's always the top. So it's really hard, but I mean, Invincible just it's just a story that every time I read it, I get so lost in it. I'm like, man, how can this damn thing be so good? How can a comic be so good? Like you can really tell that no, you were off by a year, man. I had to look it up. You were off by a year. I had to look it up. So Corey, I think you're golden there, boss. Um,
I was just looking for an approximation anyway. You're both winners.
yeah. Like I remembered it was either 13 or 15 years. I knew it was a really long stretch there, but you can really tell. Hey, Lorena, what's going on? You can really tell Robert Kirkman put a lot of care into this universe. Like any fans of Walking Dead,
Hmm.
you can tell. Robert Kirkman is on such a level. Like his writing is just so damn good.
Believe it or not, I got addicted to him with Battle Pope because I saw that in the comic book store, and just the title alone, I'm like, I know it's going to be rude. I know it's going to be offensive. I know I got to read it. So
Mhm.
I grabbed it, and it's a hilarious, and that's the only thing that got me to try The Walking Dead when it came out. Because my LCS at the time was like, "You're a big Kirkman fan. You like zombies. You ought to try this." I'm like, "Oh, there's so many zombie books out there, though." But then I grabbed it, and as soon as I read issue one, I was like, "Yep, get it on my pull." And that's my favorite run, an entire run. Except I hate the way he did the last issue out of nowhere, because
Mhm.
that little smart aleck had already released like the next 6 months covers, so no one knew it was going to be the last episode because he put out 5 fake covers for the next 5 months. But as soon as I saw that it was a double size edition, I'm like, uh oh, the last time he did a double size edition is when Glenn got killed. Something's going to happen. So I immediately ordered like three of them, wondering what it was going to be so I could not touch one and read the other. And I got to the end and I was like, what? I was so mad. I'm like, you can't just say the end 20 years later. What? But,
Yeah. Was there any truth to the rumor that the whole reason he even got to make The Walking Dead is because he told them it was going to be aliens?
yes,
That is true.
that is
Okay.
true. I've heard that come right out of his mouth. Yep. Now, did you read the comic at all?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Oh,
we
the
have.
comic is so much better. The people who love the TV show, I'm like, you gotta read the comic. If you like the TV show, the comic is the TV show on steroids.
Yeah,
And the story makes a hell of a lot more sense in the comic than it does on TV. Now, if you're a fan of the TV show first and then you watch the comic, you're going to go ew because there's certain people who have love interests that on the show you like ew, but in the comics it happened. But
yeah,
I love those, and it's been a real bummer that I can't read them anymore. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for that deluxe omnibus.
yeah. A
And thank
society.
you again for introducing me to that dude. He was hilarious.
Oh
And
yeah.
now TJ's never gonna let it go. He's got him
Oh,
and I in a room together, and
bro, I knew that you would have a good time on there. So I was happy you got to join, and Rich was there because, uh, Rich. I guess he had been sick for a little while, so he wasn't at the store. So
uh,
the fact that he was actually at the store this time was cool too.
the
But
last time I tried it, it was just a dude in a bunny mask, and it was kind of boring. But yeah, he was, and then I found out he wrote all those Dracula books. I'm like, dude, I love those. Next thing you know, TJ's got us getting married, but that's not gonna happen.
Skybound selling
In a
three volumes.
multiverse somewhere,
Yeah,
maybe.
3 volumes of the compendium for 100. Yeah, 150. That's because those compendiums, they're about, God, they feel almost that thick. They
Hi,
do.
Lorena.
You know, Lorena, I would tell you if you got some time, you got 3 seasons of the show up. They just ended season 3, but it's
How
one
many
of those,
episodes?
huh?
How many episodes per season?
I want to say they're 8.
Now, are they hour, half hour, 20 minute? What are they?
45 minutes. It depends because one of them we watched, we thought it was done, like the episode was over, and I thought because these have the little in credit scene things, kind of like Marvel and superhero movies do now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're watching this episode and we think, okay, here comes the little stinger. We'll wait for the next episode to pop up, and it just kept going. And not only did it keep going for like 15 or 20 minutes, then it went back to the spot it left off in the show, and it kept going. So I was like, okay, this one might be a little bit longer than most of the other episodes. So it's kind of one of those weird. Sometimes it depends on the episode, the length.
I'll
I just
I'll give it a try. It'll give me something to watch in between Reachers.
Yeah,
Because right now it's like, I have to double my Xanax intake waiting for Daredevil and Reacher every week. I'm like, come on, come on, come on, come on. Because they're both been excellent this season.
yeah, and we're definitely going to get into that. Whew.
I'm
Oh,
waiting patiently.
that that Daredevil. So man,
And again, the cinematography and the little subtle hints they give you, and it's like, oh, it's delicious. It's like dessert.
yeah, yeah. So they're each, yeah, they're 8 episodes each. There's a special in between season 1 and 2. It's like a whole Adam Eve special that's really good. Um,
Interesting.
Funny enough, there's these these characters called the Technicians. They're voiced by Doug Bradley. And if anybody knows who Doug Bradley is, Pinhead.
I knew. I was just shocked that he was doing a cartoon.
Yeah.
Did he have fascinating things to show them?
He said something.
Did he really?
He said something close
Oh,
to that.
oh.
And I said, like, man, what are we dealing with? The Xenobites here? And
You got me hooked now. You
Jenna
got me
looked at
hooked
me.
now.
She goes, damn it, I was just about to say that. And to be honest with you, until I was looking up the series here, I knew the voice sounded familiar. I didn't know it was him till I saw it in this thing I was looking at.
You got me hooked. I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but when Hellraiser first came out, the big rumor that was going around, because I don't think the internet was popular yet, was that was the guy from the Odd Couple. I'm like, there is no way in hell that's. Oh, I'm drawing a total blank now on his name. Oh,
Let's see. Was it Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in that show, or was that
not
somebody
that
else?
one. The one after. The one that
Oh,
was on TV with Klugman and the other good guy. And the other guy's the one I'm trying to. Tony. Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
see. So there's Jack Klugman and Tony Randall.
Randall, that's it. Everybody was saying that's who Pinhead was. I'm like, you guys are crazy. There is no way that's Tony Randall. But back then you couldn't just sit at a keyboard and get your answer in 2 minutes. So I had
True.
to wait for, as my mom would call it, Fangoria to show up so I could figure out who it was. She kept calling it that, and I just let her go. God bless her heart, because I wasn't about to correct her. No, first time I heard her say it, one of your Fangorias is here, and I'm like, my what? I loved it. But anyway,
Have you seen that Feral
yes,
Fangoria cover? Fangoria
yes,
cover?
yes.
So awesome. And Phable. I've really been wanting to read Firepower and Void Rivals. I just haven't yet. There was one that he did that was kind of a surprise to me. Like it kind of came out of nowhere, called Die Die Die, about
Mm,
like triplet assassins.
yep, that's a
That
good
was
one.
oh my goodness. I
Fable,
love
my brother with Pinhead. Yes, me
yeah,
too. I love Pinhead. The Cenobites are amazing.
God,
We
they
were
just
just talking a couple weeks ago how I wanted to see like a Cenobites crossover with like Spawn or something and have them go at it. That would be so much fun.
yeah, Stevie. I've decided that until the week before Superman comes out, I'm just gonna let it grow. I'm gonna have to pay my haircut people kind of extra because my hair's so thick. I
Are
feel
you
bad.
are
I
you
feel
gonna
bad
put it
for
in a
you.
spit curl? You really should put in a spit
You,
curl.
you know what's really funny is when my hair is wet sometimes, and I let it drown and go in front of my face. It does it automatically.
You should do it with like the wax until Superman comes out. You should have the spit curl.
Maybe one day, shit, I have two top ponies and a spit curl.
Oh Lord. I didn't say Chun Li. No, but your ponytail prank on Kyle was priceless. I don't think I've ever seen him laugh that loud, not live.
It's so good, dude. It was so good. Like
And then the other dude was a wrestler and didn't get my what I was saying, and I was like, no, 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 not that.
Rod's awesome too, though, man. He's
Yeah,
always a blast to hang out with. And,
I'd
you
like to see
know,
his
we
work.
had when we had Castle, dude. I was shocked. They didn't tell me he was coming this last Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting there waiting in the back room with Kyle for the show to start, and he just pops on, and I was like, "Holy hell, man! How you been?" And he said he's feeling a lot better now.
Yeah.
The reason he's usually not on the show on Saturdays is because he has actually started working a lot at his comic shop. So
Yep.
he works on Saturday. And you know, like I tell everybody, if you can't be here, it's like I don't get offended by that. I mean, it's Saturday. It's the night where most people who have wives and stuff, you know, they either like to go out or they like to stay home because, you know, my wife's working. So
Hmm.
I never get offended if people are like, "Hey man, I can't be here." No, it's all good. Like don't worry about it.
I don't know how it all worked itself out, but he didn't know you guys had a show until like 2 hours before your show, because him and I were chatting back and forth, and
Mhm.
and he was talking about how a lot of his favorite EXP shows are gone, and how he misses not being able to watch you guys do oh god, not what's in the box. New,
In stores this week.
yes, in stores. I don't know why I can never remember that title. I'm like, well, you know that Kyle and Jay have a show on Wednesday now where they let guests pop on. He's like, what? Are they on tonight? And I said, let me check. And I said, yeah. And I shot him the link. So then I log in and there he is. I'm like, well, it didn't take you very long to, because he said that he's been working so hard, but he was going to try to pop in and say hi. So
Yeah.
I was surprised to see him on there too.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I love when y'all like that's my favorite part about the Q&A thing is, you know, yeah, I could bring y'all on here with me and that's awesome. I love doing that right now. But it's also cool that when I'm working, I can have y'all pop on.
Yeah,
Like having you on the show with Dan with me, dude, that was awesome.
dude, I love that.
That
That was
was
so
so
much
awesome.
fun.
Like, yeah, you know, if you want to bring Ed on, go ahead. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna bring Ed on. You kidding me?
Nice. Well, Dan said that he'd love to come on Hydra with us some weekend again too.
Yep.
Now,
Trust me,
how cool would that be to have Dan Wickline on your Hydra show?
I'm definitely gonna take him up on that because Jenna will eventually get back. Like once we get into a place where she feels comfortable again, she's gonna be back doing this too. She does a lot of stuff for us like behind the scenes, but she's been wanting to interview and talk to Dan for a long time. Like her and Dan talked beforehand, but she wanted to do it for the channel.
Right.
Um, but it just like scheduling stuff never panned out. So I think one of these days we might try to get Dan on to do like an interview thing with Jenna because like I said she really wants to get back into doing this too. She's just but like full disclosure behind the curtain stuff, she's busting her ass right now working.
Yeah.
So trust me, it's not like she doesn't want to be here. But
You've read Karma, right?
oh yeah, we have it.
Karma 2 is getting shipped to him to sign, and then they're going to be released. So that might be something to try to interview him about.
That's true.
Once we get a hold of Karma 2 and can actually read it, and that'd be fun to chit
Yeah.
chat.
See,
Because I love Karma. I bought his Karma in paperback.
yeah, see that
And I
one.
read it so much that I ended up buying it in hardcover because I was ruining the paperback, flipping back and forth.
Yeah, see, I wasn't able to hop on the second one, but
Okay.
Sean had actually bought the first one, but it's here. I think Sean ended up just giving it to us. But I mean, we got all the. There's a lot of stuff when I did that unboxing that I couldn't show on camera.
Right, I'm sure.
There was a lot of cards and things that came in there that.
I'm sure. Well, see,
And
what I didn't know they were doing is when they did the Kickstarter, once they got their goal, they upgraded everybody to hardcover for free. So I'm like, well, crap. I don't want to crack the cover on the hardcover. So now I'm going to have to buy it off Amazon in paperback or something so I can read it. But it does come with a PDF of it. So I'll read the PDF first.
yeah,
But that's the thing about hardcovers is, do you know how hard it was for me to crack the cover on that Michael Meyer one that I got at Halloween time? I'm like, I don't want to crack it. I don't want to crack it. Screw that. I'm reading this book, and I opened it. I'm like, just open it and rip the Band-Aid off. And I whipped it open and devaluized it, but it was the best reading of my lifetime. I loved it.
yeah. Jenna is when it comes to our hardcovers. Jenna warms them up like the minute we get them. She spends about half an hour to 45 minutes warming the books up. So she'll open one end of it, take a couple pages, and she'll do that back and forth for like I'm like, you don't have patience for much, but this is the one thing you definitely had patience for. So
Nice.
all of ours are warmed up because she I think she let her sister or somebody read a brand new book one time
Oh no.
and they just opened it up right
Oh
away.
no.
She was like, "No, what are you doing?" It's like, well, they don't know. You can't tell a new comic book, somebody just reading a comic book for the first time.
You're
You can't
only
tell them.
meant to go to the centerfold in one particular magazine, and it's not a comic book.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like I said, the hardcover I just got, and I did the unboxing. I'm pretty sure I showed it off last week. I
Hey,
still,
Nope, if you're still there, did you finish Trick or Treat yet?
I think he was telling me that's one of either he finished it or he was going to try to get his girlfriend to read it.
I know he was reading it. I don't know if he finished it or not. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jay.
No, no, you're good.
I've never, I don't come across many other people who've had a chance to read it, so I'm just excited to see if he finished it and if he liked it. I can't wait for part 2 to get here, but it's not supposed to arrive until October, which is perfect, but it's a long time to wait.
Yeah, he and I were talking about that earlier when he was like, unfortunately, he wasn't going to be able to be on the show tonight because they don't have
Yeah,
electricity. So I
right.
mean, I'm over the moon that he's at least in the chat. Like I appreciate that, but okay, he did finish it.
Like it? Love it? Hate it? I know you're working on your cell phone battery, so I don't want to make you talk too much because God knows how long you need it. But if you just plug your phone into a potato, that's supposed to charge it. I saw that on the internet, and if it's not on the internet, it's got to be true. So if you got a potato, second half was that's great. Nice, nice. Nope, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, comic story. But that's so hard to say because for years, Fantastic Four 51 was my favorite comic story. I love that story. I don't know why. There's something about that story that I just love. But
So
Trick or Treat's fantastic.
for the uneducated on that Fantastic Four story, what is that story?
Oh, this monster. It's about a guy who hates the Fantastic Four and he's able to turn himself into looking like the Thing. And he tries to kill the Fantastic Four in their sleep because they all think he's the Thing. It is such a good story. That's all I can tell you without spoiling.
Hmm.
But if you have to read it by nefarious methods, go for it because getting an actual copy nowadays is very difficult to do. Thankfully, I've had mine for years, but it's a great story. It's such good writing. It's one of Stan Lee's best. I love that story.
You
I
said,
I also love the story where Spider-Man shows the dying boy his face because he wants to see what Spider-Man looks like before he dies. That one gives me the
oh,
ugh every time.
yeah, I used to have a VHS. Yes, the VHS tape for anybody too young to know what that is. Um, a story where he goes and visits a little girl and like takes her on this
Oh yeah,
adventure.
they did a gender swap thing. Yep, in
Okay,
the
that
comic it was a little boy. It was the
okay.
same basically story. Yep.
Yeah,
You're talking about the 90s cartoon, right?
yes.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, they did a little gender swap and switch names, but that's an
Oh,
actual comic, and it was a little boy. And when
oh,
I first read that, my heart just
oh,
when he took the mask off and gave the boy a hug, and I was like, okay, I'm a man. I can't. Well, I wasn't a man at the time. I'm a guy. I can't cry. I got to close this now and go beat up something. But no,
like
that gave me the feels. It's a great
it,
read.
it's the second that he leaves her window and swings away, and then you see because they don't tell you where she's at the whole time. So
Yep.
it's that last second of seeing where she's at, and I was just like, "Oh man!" Like just, ugh, that's
The story in the comic is called oh, the boy who collects or the kids who collect. It was just like a one-off story, and it's in Spider-Man 248. And the kid's name I think was it was either Timmy or Jimmy, and forgive me, but South Park has me all screwed up. I don't remember if it was Timmy or Jimmy, but he was dying of leukemia and only had a few days left. And his last dying wish was he wanted to see what Spider-Man looked like behind the mask. And Peter took off the mask, and yeah, I got the feels, and I had to put the book down and go do something macho.
mm,
But it's a good story, and the cartoon followed it pretty close. But if you have never read it, try to read it, even if you have to do it by nefarious methods. But you can probably pick up 248 for pretty cheap. I don't think it's a key issue or anything. It's just a fantastic story.
yeah. I wore that tape out like whenever I felt like, man, I need a good cry. I just need to cry sometimes. I would put that one in.
Now, did you record it or was it like something
No,
you
I
bought?
no, I bought the tape.
Oh, okay.
I bought the tape, and I just,
I
man,
didn't know they had them out on VHS.
yeah, I can't remember what like the tape had a name, but I can't remember what it was. I know there was a character in there that was a little annoying. They called him Mouse. It was a taxi driver or something.
Hmm. Mouse. So was
Yeah.
this like the whole series on a tape, or was it just that
No, it
episode
was
on a
just
tape?
like a special.
Oh, just like a special one-off you could buy with some
Yeah,
episodes. Got it.
yeah. I'll end up finding it
Of course.
after this, but yeah, it was the old, radioactive Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now it was that. It was that cartoon.
I love that cartoon though. That cartoon, honestly though, is one of the best cartoon adaptations of the comic because it followed a lot of the stories pretty good. They made some subtle changes, like making Timmy a girl, but for the most part, it did a pretty good job with most of the stories.
Yeah,
So was Avengers Assemble. That cartoon, wonderful. I love that cartoon.
dude. There was a lot of the Disney cartoons, especially because there was some crossover in them.
Hmm.
Like Ultimate Spider-Man crossed over with
Well,
the
everybody.
Avengers, and uh, Hulk and the Agents of Smash came from
Yep.
the Ultimate Spider-Man
Yep.
cartoon.
Sure did.
Dude, Hulk and the Agents of Smash to me was so underrated. I loved that show. I was like, man, this show is. I like all the other ones, but there's something about that one. I think maybe the voice cast too, because
Ultimate Spider-Man was the one that had White Tiger with Power Man and
Iron Fist,
Iron Fist and the
hmm
other guy. I can't remember the other guy's name. He flew and
Nova.
Nova. Yeah, that was Ultimate, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that was a good show too.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that were mad when they went from. I can't remember this. There was a Spider-Man before that one. But people were mad when they went to that, and then they went to a different Spider-Man for a little while. And I
People are
don't think that
always
one.
mad.
Everybody's mad about everything most of the time when it comes to that
Whenever
stuff.
anything changes, people get mad, and then when nothing changes, people get mad that it's the same old thing. And it's like,
Yep.
just shut up, people.
Yeah.
Watch it or don't.
Yeah. Like I still haven't watched that what is
Reacher,
that new well, I mean Reacher, but I'm excited to watch that. I mean, I'm excited to watch the
are you talking about
Spider-Man.
Madam Web again?
No, I have that. I have not watched it yet. I'm still gonna watch it. I watched all the other ones, man. I might as well watch this one. I
Get
heard
drunk first.
Craven isn't that good either, but
I haven't seen Craven yet. I'm waiting for that to come out for free.
well, Round Guy uh, told me he goes, my grandson enjoyed it. And I was like, well, that's all that matters. Like I never listen to critics and
Hey,
stuff. Like
getting kids to love comics is a good thing. So I'm glad his
exactly,
grandson enjoyed it. Because the next
exactly.
generation is going to have to step up, or this industry is going to die.
Yeah, yeah. That's something we talked about on Wednesday,
Mm,
where I was like, people complain about these movies. I said, but you're gonna have some kid out there that's gonna find one of these movies and they're gonna fall in love with it.
mhm.
And cool, you don't like it. That's fine. But if that movie gets that kid to be like, I want to read comics about this character. I really connected with this character in the movie. Then hell yeah, it did its job.
Yep.
Like it's all about getting those new folks because we're gonna have to be replaced sometime.
I got two movies that are on my I love these movies and I will love them till the day I die. That everybody in the world makes fun of them, but for me, they were my exposure to my childhood being on the big screen, and I absolutely loved it. And that's Howard the Duck. I love that movie. I'm not too proud to admit it. And The Punisher with Dolph.
Yep,
I love both of those. I own both of those. I introduced my daughter to both of those. She loved both of those. I don't care if people can make fun of me all they want. I love those two movies.
dude. Howard the Duck, man. That's my jam, dude. I
Oh,
love that movie.
brother, I knew it. We got to be related.
I watched it not that long ago, actually.
Sean and I were just talking about this. The three of us somehow are related in a multiverse.
No, Ross, that's okay, man. I know a lot of people that wasn't high on the Ultimate Spider-Man show. Spider-Man the new animated series, yeah, it's underrated. It's all good though. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious. But to each
Thank
their
you,
own with that.
Lorena. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yes. All
I
right.
you know what?
Team Howard. Hashtag Team Howard.
I bet if Fable was still here, I'm pretty sure Fable has said before he was a Howard the Duck fan.
Oh, nice.
I think Robbie made fun of the two of us because of it.
Howard the Duck. If it
Dude,
ain't funk, you don't feel it. How do you not get into that? Not to mention Leah Thompson. Oh my
Leah
God.
Thompson, come on, let's go. Yeah,
Yes, I was like 12 or 13 or whatever, and I was like, rewind, rewind.
yeah,
Oh, Howie.
and yeah,
See,
Dolph, dude. Not only for Punisher, but I'm sorry, y'all. Masters of the Universe when I was a kid, I I loved it. I had such a fun time with that because I was a He-Man kid.
you know, I was a little too old when that one came out. I did not like it, but I'm sure I would have had I watched it when I was younger. But when he goes, the guilty must be punished. Oh, I love that. I love that line. I've used that line for years on stuff. Whenever I see something on TV where they're talking about a court trial, I'll say, the guilty must be punished.
Yep. You
And
know,
I even replied to some of Castle's videos with that because he does that. Stay punished. And I
yeah,
would put the guilty must be punished.
I'm trying to remember because somebody recently told me that the director of that movie only didn't add the skull because he was trying to be different. Like he had all the like he had it to where he could put the skull
Yeah,
on the shirt, but he wanted it to be different. He wanted it to be something of his own.
right. Well, he had it on the knives
Yeah, like he had the
and his
skull on
belt
the
buckle,
knives.
his
Yeah,
belt buckle too, I think.
but the actual symbol on the shirt, for some reason, he just like was too good for it or something like that. There's some story behind it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just figured they left it out for believability reasons. Because if a dude's running around with that on his shirt, you'd know who he was.
True.
Whereas the way they did it, and God bless him and rest his soul, and I can't remember. Well, who's the bald guy that's in that movie that played Castle's best friend? Oh my God, I have all his movies. He was in the oh my God, he was in
Yeah.
so many. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, a brain freeze. Somebody knows who I'm talking about. The bald guy that was in the Punisher, and it was his best friend, Lou Gossett.
Lou Gossett Jr.
Yes, Lou Gossett. I love that man.
Okay.
But he was so good in that as Frank's best friend. And then the Civil War is the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah.
I
And
can't handle you right now, Ed. I really can't. Okay, my phone is like a brick. I can't use it at all.
I love you.
Wait, we'll get it figured out.
What? Her phone's not working?
Yeah.
It
Hammer's working.
updated, and now the whole bottom half of the screen can't be used.
We'll figure it out.
I
After.
had that happen to me, and the only way that I could fix it, because it happened after an update, was I had to let the battery die. So I like turned the flashlight on and left it on, and let the
Okay.
battery completely die and do a cold reset of the phone, and then it started working again. That's the only way I could make it work.
I know. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Triple B. I might have to try that here in a minute. Because it's, this is very frustrating because, you know, my 7 days a week job is off my phone.
Oh yeah.
I was working when it happened, so I'm home early. Hi, guys.
As Reacher would say, get a burner. No,
And yes, Lorena, he is a genius.
Who's a genius?
who's a genius?
1200.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I agree.
All right, come
Yes.
on, go outside. Come on, outside.
But yeah,
I will break you, or I must break
I
you.
must break you.
I must break you.
Yeah, like
Did you ever see that one that he did with Bruce Lee's kid, the guy that was the crow?
yes.
I love that movie too. What's it called? Big
Oh.
Trouble in Little Tokyo or something? Showdown in Little Tokyo, something like that.
It's
Big Trouble in Little China is the other one with Kurt Russell.
yeah.
But it's something like Showdown in Little Tokyo or Trouble in Little Tokyo or something like that. That's a great movie.
Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I highly recommend it to anyone that likes 80s action movies.
Yeah.
And having Brandon Lee, is that his name?
Yeah, it was Brandon Lee.
They were a great compliment to each other because Brandon Lee had a subtle sense of humor where Dolph was just like, yeah, whatever. And another one of Dolph movies that nobody even hears of, nobody loves it. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I Come in Peace.
Oh,
I
God.
love that movie. And everybody I talk to, no one knows what I'm talking about.
Well, I remember that movie actually had two different names too.
It did. It did. It absolutely did.
That's the one with the weird, like the CD was a weapon or something.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
like a flying CD, and it was like a white alien that was here to suck out the adrenal glands of our brain after he'd inject you with some kind of heroin, and then he'd like suck the serotonin out of your brain, and that's how his planet would get high. It was off our serotonin, so he was like international drug or interspatial galactical drug dealer, and Dolph had to take him down. And all the alien ever said was, I come in peace. And then right at the end, he's not Castle, but I'm going to call him Castle because he was Castle and Punisher. Castle's like, and you leave in pieces. Boom! And blue. Oh, love that movie.
Yeah, it was also called Dark Angel.
Yes, Dark Angel.
And the thing that I remember most about it was, where did the murders take place? Do you remember?
Okay, now when you say where, are you mean a specific location or a city or what?
Yes,
Because there's several different locations the murders take place. So
well,
I don't know what you're getting at.
okay, it takes place in Houston, Texas.
That
The
I knew.
investigation of the mysterious drug-related murders on the streets of Houston, Texas.
Yes, that I knew, but I thought you meant there was some kind of like Hell's Kitchen something on the side that I missed or something. I was like, I
No,
don't know.
it's just Texas.
Oh. And I don't know who it was that played the head mafia guy, but he did a really good job in The Punisher. The head mobster guy that was the kid's dad in the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Oh God.
He's been in other things too, and he's always a great bad guy. But I Come in Peace, if you've never seen it, Dolph Lundgren, I Come in Peace. If you love Lundgren, if you love 80s action, if you love The Predator, you gotta watch I Come in Peace. It is just corny goodness. I love it. So you knew what I was talking about right away.
Oh yeah.
Most people, I bring this up and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So now I got to ask you if you've seen one of my favorite Halloween movies. Have you ever seen A Perfect World? Because
No, I
no
think
one's
you
ever heard
actually.
of that either.
Yeah, you actually talked to us about that before.
Oh, okay. Because that's another one of my favorite movies that no one's ever heard of before. I'm like, it's got Kevin Costner in it. How do you not know? But nobody's ever heard of it. It's a great watch. I'm done. Sorry. I got a little too excited.
Nah, nah, it's all good, man. That's what these here like these streams are for, man. We got a little bit of a plan, but anybody want to talk about anything, we're gonna talk. But so the last thing was really cool. The first like half hour, we had like 30 people in here. That was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but probably took too long getting to the topics, but that's okay. These aren't for views. These are just for these are all for fun. But um, we gotta talk about this latest episode of Daredevil, man.
Oh,
So
dude. It's awesome.
it's
And again, they got me. They get you with the subtle hints. Like they go from showing you Fisk's bloody knuckles to eating dinner, right to Daredevil washing blood off his hands to signify that the devil's returning and the Kingpin is returning. It's just like brilliant. The cinematography and the storytelling is off the chart. Marvel's got the right recipe. I hope they keep it.
yeah, 100%. Like the opening when Hector is talking about
The frog.
the frog and his homeland,
Mm-hmm.
the Koki, I think is the frog's name. I don't remember exactly. I know it began with a C.
Yeah, something
When
like
he
that.
says, they sing their names and they mate for life.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like this beautiful story.
And then
And
he makes the sound.
yeah, and Matt's sitting there listening to him, and to find out that they hadn't been feeding him, and it feels like in some of the instances when they're bringing him back in the court, it feels to me like maybe he's been roughed up a little bit between those times.
Mm-hmm.
But we open it up with that beautiful just description of where he's from and everything, and then we get into the episode, and you and Triple B had both said this, or at least I think you said this, that you thought that this episode was going to be the whole trial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I know two of y'all
We,
said
we
that.
we both said it would be the whole trial, and I said that he's going to get off, and one of the fake Punisher cops is going to kill him, and that's what's going to bring the Punisher in.
Yep,
And that was
you nailed
pretty
it.
darn spot on.
Nailed it. Because let me say, I gotta say about this episode. This was I'm a Law and Order fan. I like this stuff. I know that I said before, that I didn't want the entire show to just be a lawyer show. But the way they paced this episode was just, there were parts where I knew what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but I still had that feeling of, wait, are they going to do that? I mean, that's like, it's a trope to do that, but are they going to do that? Are they going to do this? Like, it actually had me guessing those two parts. The one when they're bringing in Nikki Torres.
Mm,
My whole thought was, he's not there. He's not
mm-hmm.
there. He's not in the back of that van while Cherry's driving away.
Yep.
I did think it was kind of dumb for the cop that was just on the stand, who, yes, folks, again, spoilers, the cop lives. One of them, at least. We haven't seen the other one yet. We saw the one that got dropped on his neck for some reason, but we hadn't seen the other one at all. But he left to go stop them instead of them sending somebody else.
Yeah.
I thought was kind of strange. But you get to the back of the van, you know that he's not there. You
Right.
really do. But at the same time, you're like, but maybe. What if? What if he is there? Then, I mean, it keeps cutting back to the courtroom. And the judge is like, where's your witness? Where's your witness? Can we get a few seconds? Just a few more seconds. Like, the tension build up.
That was such a Madlock moment.
Golly. Like, that, to me, it's like, we've seen this done before, but why is it affecting me like this right now? It's just something about the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, Triple B. Your other girl wasn't in the episode very much. But, he shows up, and there was a part of me when he gets there, I felt like this dude's a little too eager to help. Nikki's a little too, like, for somebody who was trying to run away from this.
Or he was getting free heroin and rock music.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. Maybe that's what it was, but he just felt too eager
Yep.
when he gets up on the stand, and then you got all those cops looking at him.
Yep.
I felt it as soon as he,
Yep.
like, so he's turned, like, kind of looking at the jury, but you can feel, like, out of the corner of his eye, he's looking at all those cops. He's not even looking at Matt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just like, oh no, I was home the whole night.
Yep.
So I'm like, damn it, what are they going to do now? So my whole thinking is, dude, Hector's going to jail. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be Hector's going to end up going to jail. So then they decide they're going to put Hector on the stand. And he's questioning Hector, and Hector gets to tell his side of the story. And then Matt is the one who, after the second episode, was like, hey, we can't talk about him being White Tiger. Matt's the one that pulls the mask out and asks him flat out, like, are you the vigilante known as White Tiger? I was like, Matt, you were the one who was fighting, like, and arguing about that, and the judge, like, pulls him and the other lawyer in the back.
Oh yeah, gives him
And
good butt chewing.
Yeah, he's like, you were the one who said that we cannot bring this up because it would sway people's judgment and everything. And Matt's like, well, my witness was compromised.
Yep.
My star witness was compromised. So this was the last thing I could think of doing. And then they get back out there and they start getting other people's testimony of people that he saved as the White Tiger. Yeah, just like Triple B said, it was the only card he had left. So everybody's hearing how much, this guy put his life on the line to help these people, not only the people, but
Yep.
the police.
Yeah, all those witnesses telling their stories of how he saved their lives. That was a very touching.
Yes.
I loved that whole court scene. That court scene was great. I love the lawyer stuff.
My
And I mentioned it last night on Nick's show, and I'm sorry, I'm 12 years old, but when Daredevil was in the bathroom and the bad cop walked in, and they're having this big heated moment. Oh, blind guy that can beat up people, and all this stuff, and Then he goes, "I'll see you in court." Daredevil says that, and as soon as he said that, my 12-year-old brain spits out, "No, you won't."
No, you won't.
And I start laughing, and Amy looks at me like, "Really, really?" I'm like, "You know my stupid sense of humor." It was effortless. As soon as he said, "I'll see you in court," I was like, "No, you won't." Couldn't
Yeah,
help myself.
dude,
That was a great scene in the
yeah,
bathroom. Not
I
to
had
get
a
weird.
chuckle at that too. I had a chuckle at that too. I tell you, the thing that I liked most is you have that one cop that when Matt is talking, he starts shaking his head in agreement. They only show him for like a split second, but there's one cop there that when Matt's talking, he's just like he's buying what Matt's saying. So you have at least one cop that's kind of like, okay, maybe Matt has a point about what's going on. You know, this guy has put his life on the line. Yes, he had a mask on. And that's the thing about this court stuff that's so good to me. It's not just one-sided, as in everything Matt says is just like 100%. That's how it should be. That's you know, he's everything he's saying is everything you should be saying. The prosecutor makes some pretty damn good points too. So it's not a one-sided court battle.
Right.
Like there were moments I was like, I don't know. I really think Hector's going to jail. Like even after all that, there was just something about, and that's what makes it so good. I know that there's some people who are like, there's too much drama, not enough Daredevil. And to that, I was like, do you remember? Yeah, we got Daredevil in season 1, but we didn't get Matt in the suit until like 2 episodes before that season ended. In this one, we start out with Matt in the suit. Matt's given it up, and this is his story of working his way back into that suit.
Yep, exactly. That's what I love about the court stuff is that this is especially when they mentioned that one, he kept mentioning it's not the mask that makes you the hero. And it just sunk in so deep, and it was so well done with him doing his lawyer thing and saying that. And because you know what it's leading to, it's leading to him putting his mask back on to go out and do his vigilante thing. And it's just, oh, they're nailing it. They're crushing it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Like so if there's folks out there that's like, we're not getting enough Daredevil or whatever, I just say be patient.
It's coming.
It's coming. And
I got to ask you though, because
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch much. I don't remember much of the Netflix. I watched some of it, but I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
Now, right now in this show, Frank Castle's in jail, right?
In season 2, I think he goes to jail, or the beginning of season 3. I can't remember now.
So
It's
that
been a
scene
while.
earlier with Kingpin beating him up, that wasn't from this show. That was from the previous, because it started showing Castle in jail, and the Kingpin came in to interview him, and they got in their little tiff. Is he in
No.
jail right now? The only reason I'm asking is because for a split second in the court, when they're getting ready to give the verdict, sitting right behind Daredevil looks like a guy that looks like Shane. And I've rewound it and they blur him just enough, but it looks just like, and by Shane, I mean The Walking Dead. I'm talking
Yeah.
about Frank Castle.
Yeah.
It looks like him sitting there, but I'm like, isn't he in jail right now? So I'm wondering if he's not in jail, did they give us a cameo that maybe not everybody caught? Or is he in jail right now? And do people know that Frank Castle is Punisher in this world? Do they know that?
If love you too.
I don't know if the back story of it is the problem.
He is in jail for a little bit, but he ends up getting out. I don't remember. There you go. He
Okay.
was out and free into Punisher season 2.
Okay. So he is out, but do people know that Frank Castle is the Punisher
A
in
lot
this
of them
world?
do. I don't.
So he couldn't have been sitting in the audience and people not known.
See, that's the thing. I don't know because people know Wilson Fisk is the kingpin in this world. So I would assume
Okay.
that the people who knew Frank Castle was Punisher would still know
There's one shot it's either just before or just after Murdoch gives his closing argument. He goes and he sits back down, and behind him, a couple of rows, it looked exactly like Shane sitting there. But they blurred his face really quick, so you couldn't see. But I'm like, is that the Punisher in the audience? But for some reason, I thought he was still in jail.
I'm gonna have to frame through frame that. Okay, everything is canon from the Netflix show. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
he's out then.
Yeah.
So it could have been a little preview of him. The only, I kind of had that episode figured out unknowingly when I was babbling about it last week. But the
Mhm.
one thing I didn't see coming was the uneventful, total meaningless death of the White Tiger.
Yeah.
He didn't get.
2 seconds.
What?
Can you push this out so I can get the Sims card?
That's what she said.
Push it out! Gosh.
Push it out, shove it out, way out.
Well, I can't get anything else to fit. Titles.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I can't. I need to get the Sims card out so I can put it in the other phone. But I can't figure out how to do that.
End of the world, there was a phone that didn't work for Jenna. Episode
You mean
12.
like every 2 years? I don't know what happens. Like I take care of my phones. I put cases on it. I put screen protectors on it.
I've told you once, I've told you 100 times, Jenna, you can't put it on vibrate and just keep hitting redial. You're going to wear out the phone. You're going to wear out the phone.
Oh my gosh. Can you bring me your phone?
How you doing, sunshine?
Frustrated that I missed out on a couple hours of work, but other than that, okay.
Good.
Just trying to get things figured out. So is the way of life, isn't it?
You can do it.
I can do it all night long. What were we talking about?
We were talking about Daredevil, episode 3.
I haven't seen the new stuff. Sims card. LOL.
Well, then you better not be listening because we just spoiled most of it.
Oh, it's fine. I will forget it because it doesn't look it, but I'm half panicky, Jenna, right now. Ooh.
Uh-oh. Like that's anything new.
This level is, yes.
So do we want to talk about the spot where Tony finds out that it was really... No? Okay. I love you, Jenna.
That's all I got for you. Jay already showed off my new collection, didn't he?
The hardcover cover. Yep.
Oh, I don't know if you guys could see the...
He did it so tricky, though, because he showed the back first and made us all think that it was a statue.
As he does.
He was a little stink pot on that one.
Oh, that's Trixie Hobbitses. Oh,
what stunts the Baggins got in its pockets is.
Oh my gosh. Did you see that they're planning on making it a series? They're gonna do a new Lord of the Rings series.
Yes.
On top of the
Rings of Power.
I don't know how to
Quest
feel
for
about
Gollum. That's a movie, right? Quest for Gollum is going to be a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie.
And then the Rohirrim was a cartoon. Did you see?
It was really good. I saw it in theaters. I enjoyed it.
That was good.
All right, cool. So you can get it out. Dope.
But I can't help but wonder what part of the story they're going to tell in this new Lord of the Rings series.
I'm hoping that they tell us kind of because we saw brief clips. What was it? The beginning of the Two Towers that they did it in? We saw brief clips of Smeagol finding it, killing his cousin so he can get it, and then going into the mountains and whatnot. We only saw brief clips, right?
Right. Yeah, they showed him fishing. They showed him kill him and find the ring and choke him to death, go into the cave, and then slowly become Gollum.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to... I can't wait to see how they're going to... I want to see more of that story. And...
Is that John Cena that just went off on your phone?
No.
It sure sounded like it.
Superman.
Oh, it sounded like "Can't See Me Now." That stupid thing that Cena has.
It's the Batman. The 66 Batman.
You're right.
Oh, okay.
All right. I have found another phone that I can use, but it's an hour away.
Stick out the thumb.
Huh?
Stick out your thumb.
Oh, goodness.
Start hitching.
I'm gonna just drive.
If you can seriously, if you can drain that battery, I'm assuming you got one where you can't take the battery out because that's why they outlaw
Yeah.
them. Yeah, mine did that, and the only way I could make it work was to completely kill the battery and
I'm
then
gonna
leave
have
it
to.
dead, and then do a complete cold restart by recharging and turning it on.
What was great about this phone, so this is the Pixel 6 Pro.
Uh-huh.
The battery life on it is almost 12 hours.
I know.
And I love that about this phone. The only problem was in the 1 week that I didn't have a case, that first week that I had it and I waited for a case to come in, for the case to come in, I dropped it. But that was 4-5 years ago now, and so it's like broke right here. And
Mhm.
so I've taken very careful. I'm very careful with my phones. I get really good cases for them. I get the screen protectors for them. But so I was just like, I was really frustrated. I really like the Pixel phones. They've been very good to me.
I had a Droid Razor that
Ah,
that I only had to charge like twice a month. The battery was amazing in that.
yeah.
I
I
kept
had
it. I can't
mine those
use it
email last
anymore, but
forever.
I can still run my Sleep Fan app on it.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
when I'm traveling, I take my old phone with me because if there's no fan in the room, I
Yeah.
turn it on and it'll play it all night and not kill the battery.
That's cool. I had my first phone was one of those brick Nokias. It was like this big.
My very first phone was a Nextel Flip.
Oh my god. Do you remember? So Jay had this phone and it was my favorite phone. I borrowed it all the time. He had two of them, but they were like a switchblade
Yep.
where and it was like when it was closed, it was like a music player, right? The
Yep.
juke, that's what it's called. Thank you, dear. Um, he had music on there that we still can't find today. Like we have to play it on the juke still. It was
That's
a
funny.
music player, and then you flip it, and it was a phone. It was like a little switch. It looked like a switchblade. It was so small. Ugh.
I remember those.
And then I had, I think it was called a kick, where you would like flip them over. It was a full keyboard. And then I had my BlackBerry when I worked at the law firm. I had two of those things.
The first phone that I ever used, I got for work. Work gave it to me,
Oh,
and
Lorraine, I'm so sorry.
it looked like a military
It's
walkie-talkie, but it was a Nextel.
the box set of the hardcovers of Watchmen. She was like, "Wait, what books were those?" Got kind of like into the whole thing. All
Mhm.
right, so I need to take this because this is how we get the Sims card out of it. It's the Google. So I figured this out about the Google phones. The odd number ones is when they announce new features and stuff, and the even number ones is when they kind of perfect the new features. Like the first Pixel that came out had a couple of issues, and they fixed them in the 2. And then in the 3, they announced a whole bunch of stuff, and then they fixed it for the 4. And then the same with the 5, they announced a few things. And then the 6s, they were great. The same with the 7s, and I think they're out to 10 now. So I'm a little behind. I usually use phones until they stop working.
So they're like the Star Trek movies. The even ones are the good ones, and the odd ones are the suck ones.
Which is my friend Andrew. He gets every single Pixel, and he says they're all good. Just the even ones are better. I'm like, all right.
It's funny. You say you use the phone till they don't work. Pretty sure your phones usually only last a year or two.
This is almost 5 years old. Thank you.
How old is this phone?
Ancient.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
And I only got it replaced because my other one
stop
broke
working.
while I was working.
Yeah. All right, guys, I've got to go. I've got about an hour drive to go get it. Sean, if you hear me, you're a lifesaver because it's actually Sean that's going to let me use. He has the 7 and the 8, so he's going to let me use one of his. So off I go. Bye.
Does that
All love.
does that other phone that you have still work?
This one that I'm holding in my hand.
Yeah.
So it's weird. So look, I can turn it on. It'll
Does
turn
the
on.
internet work?
Oh, I can't do anything other than turn it on.
Oh, that sucks.
Because it wants me to unlock it, but the bottom part of the screen that doesn't work, I can't see.
Do you have any kind of tablet or any other kind of phone that you can has a microphone that the internet works on? Do you have like a tablet?
A
Because the
broken
reason I'm
tablet.
saying this, well, the reason I'm The reason I'm saying this is if
Uh-huh.
you go to Google Voice
Yeah.
and you can create a phone number and it'll work on any browser. So any device that has internet access and a microphone, you can turn into a phone. And you
Huh.
just go to Google Voice and use that phone number and give that phone number out to people because that's how I get phone calls in my house. My
Okay.
cell phone don't get signal in the house. So I
Really?
literally have people call my television through
Huh.
my Google Voice. So it's a completely different phone number. It belongs to you. It shows up as you. And all you need is haha, very
Very
funny.
funny.
And all you need is an internet connection and you can turn it into a phone.
Okay. I'm
Well, if
gonna
that
get with
saves you
you
a
later on
drive,
that. I'm gonna get with
okay.
you so we can get in that more later. I gotta go because now I feel weird holding two phones, but I kind of have to because I need your phone to go do things, but my phone so I can save the SIM so I don't lose it because I am known for losing small things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor Jay.
Bye guys. Love you.
Love you too. Be
What should
careful.
my table be? I guess you can technically call me through Messenger
Okay.
on your computer if need be.
Okay.
All right. I love you.
Love you too. Be careful.
And you'll be calling yourself.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That sucks. She has to drive 2 hours to get a phone.
Yeah. But I kind of had a feeling there's something about those phones. I know people love them, but it feels like every time it's time to upgrade, the phone stops working.
What's sad is I
Yep.
paid off this phone this month.
Of course. It's paid off. They're like, oh, it's paid off. Click the button that makes it not work anymore.
Which is why we're switching to Mint. Because there won't be that issue.
Yeah.
It's just like with cars. The minute you pay off a car, somebody wrecks it.
Oh, except for my car before we got this one, my Cobalt. Got it brand new in 2008. Only had 100 miles on it. A week after buying it, a week after getting it, somebody ran a stop sign and T-boned me,
Mm.
but didn't do enough damage to total the car.
Oh no.
And we just got this car near the end of last year, so that other car lasted me from 2008 to 2024. But
I
it
had
was
a
falling apart.
Pontiac Sunfire that I paid off, and 2 days later, I was stopped behind a 3/4 ton truck who was turning left, and a 3/4 ton truck was playing on his phone behind me and accordion me in between both the trucks. I had it paid off 3 days. Had to go get a truck. Had to go get something. So next time I got a truck, I'm like, if I'm getting T-boned again, it ain't going to be in a little Sunfire. Had that truck. I had it paid off for 2 months. Somebody rear-ended me, made me flip over, spin, ruined it. I'm like, son of a gun. The only vehicle that I own that was clear is the one I have right now, and it's been paid off for almost 10 years. And thank God it still works. So I haven't had a car payment in 10 years. But it seems like for a while, every time I'd pay off a vehicle, trashed. As soon as warranty expires on an appliance, breaks every freaking time. It's like they
Yep.
have timers in them. So where were we on Daredevil? I don't even remember.
Well, first of all, thank you, Nope. I'm glad you caught that too. Sims card. Yes.
Oh. Thank you,
There you go.
All right.
All right. Be careful.
I will be.
Love you too. So we got to the part where Matt's giving his speech. I said there's one cop though
Mm-hmm.
that nods at him. Then I was talking about how, the reason this was so good to me is it just wasn't one sided. Both arguments were actually very, very good.
They
And
were.
I know that guy that plays the Hawk. I know him from somewhere else, but I cannot remember. But I know I've seen him in things, and I'm like, that dude's really good. Like, I
Which
like that
one's the
act.
Hawk? Which one's the Hawk?
The prosecutor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the prosecutor. I know him from somewhere. I just couldn't remember, and I've been too lazy to look it up. But we get that scene, and even still, man, I'm feeling. I honestly was like, I think they're gonna put him in jail. I honestly thought that. Like, it was so back and forth for me. And then when I really, really like the symbolism where before we get to the verdict, we have Matt walking into the empty courtroom. And I saw
Oh.
this on another show that I watch, The Real Rejects. They were reacting to it, and I thought the same thing when I saw this. It's a symbolism where instead of walking into a church, this is Matt's kind of new church
Mm-hmm.
because it was empty. It looked like, you know, pews where people would be sitting in the courtroom. I really like, there was just something about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was done really well.
And then we get to the verdict and the tension again when they were asked, "Have you reached a verdict?" "Yes, Your Honor, we have." "We find the defendant," and there was that pause. And I was like, "Not guilty." And I was like, "Okay." Whew. But then they're like, "On the count of murder in the second degree," and I was like, "Is one of these going to be not guilty or guilty?" And it was not guilty all across the board. And then when they're walking out, one of the coolest transitions that I think they've done in the show, next to the hands, was when they're walking out of court and Matt's like, "No further questions, you know, justice has prevailed," whatever he says. And they're walking this way, and the camera starts pulling out this way. And then they turn into the TV screen, and then it pulls back, and you see that Fisk has been watching.
Yep.
I love how it was so clean how they did that.
Yep.
So then he wants to talk to BB again. So he's talking to BB, and she was like, you know, he was found innocent, and you know, Fisk is like, "Well, you know, the courts can be wrong. I know." And I'm thinking to myself, are you saying are you saying you know this because you've been let out? That you've like gotten around the system? Like,
Right.
part of me feels that that's what he's basically saying. I know that they're wrong sometimes.
Yep.
So while they're talking, you see he doesn't Hector doesn't even waste time. He had just been told, you know, he's innocent. The first thing he does is he puts that costume back on, he puts that amulet on,
Yep.
and he goes out to patrol. And there was part of me, though, that when they're telling this, I thought we were going to get some heroic thing
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
And then I heard the girl scream, and my first thought was, it's a trap.
Yep.
It's a trap. And when he's walking, I barely caught a glimpse of it. But when he's walking, he gets to that one, you know, that one stretch. I barely caught the person with their back turned. I was so focused on him and
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what's going to happen next that I didn't catch that person before. And then at that last second turn around, I was like, no, they're not going to do this. And sure enough, gun to the head, pulls the trigger, and Hector's dead. And I was
Just
just,
like that.
God, my heart just dropped. My heart dropped. I was like, are you kidding me? These 2 episodes with him, we've been through like this just roller coaster of emotion just for this to happen. And I was like, well, you know, he did talk about living with his niece. I don't think we ever they named the niece, but most folks out there may know this, they may not. Hector's niece is the one who becomes the next White Tiger. So I don't know if we're completely done seeing a White Tiger this series because they also didn't show the niece, so I don't know the age there. But who knows? We might see White Tiger again before the end of this. But man, what a
Yeah.
way to
It
end
could
it.
be his niece or his granddaughter, either one.
That's true.
Because the granddaughter is the current one.
Right.
So I don't know if they're gonna do the other one between, or if they're just gonna cut right to the granddaughter, or because there was that one scene where it was showing the apartment that it showed the girl's picture on the wall,
Mm,
and I don't think that was just happenstance. So I don't know if
yeah.
it's gonna fall to her or not. But now I got to ask you something though.
Hmm.
None of this is reality. But
Right.
in reality, do you really think somebody could have snuck up on the white tiger like that and took him out like that?
I don't think
I
so.
mean, that was so just for this series. All the
Uh,
stuff that the white tiger got into and he could hear and see and feel with the amulet, nobody could have just snuck up on him and popped him in the head. That was such a. The only thing I didn't like is that was a loser way to take him out.
it was, but for me, it was still effective.
It was. I won't argue.
Like the fact that that scene pretty much ends on the little diatribe that Fisk is going on, and
Hmm.
then we just get that cut to black, and there's no sound for a little bit,
Hmm.
and then the next thing you know, it's just the whistling of the frogs.
Yep. And that goes all the way through the names.
Oh my goodness! And you know you get a little bit of I think ocean noise or something, maybe beach noise,
Yeah.
but for
Yeah,
the
because he promised him he'd be back on the beach soon.
Mhm. But I mean that this is one reason I'm glad that the show is once a week, because now that we're doing lives, I'm going to be talking, just so everybody knows, I'm going to be talking about the show every week. But I would have watched this whole thing, like this whole thing would have already been done for me. I would have already watched it all. Like
Oh, me too.
there's some, like Rex was saying that the second episode was a little slow for him, and I can see that. But for me, I am a fan of those. Like I don't want to see him be a lawyer the entire time,
Hmm.
but the blending of genre with superhero and procedurals, like SVU, Matlock, stuff like
Yeah.
that, I dig those. You know, so those don't bother as much because there's enough action for me in between things and the storytelling itself that those episodes don't bore me. Like last week before we came on, I watched those two episodes again. I did the same thing this week. I watched it Thursday, and then watched it again today. Like I watched an episode of Invincible season 1, and then
Hmm.
I watched an episode of this again, just so I can keep it fresh in my head. But yeah, I'm usually not a once a week person. I usually just let stuff, if they do the once a week, I let the stuff sit, because when the boys first came out, Amazon didn't do the week to week. When the boys first came out, the whole season dropped.
Yep.
Season 1, the whole thing dropped. And then they decided at season 2 they were going to do the one or two episodes, the 2 episodes, and then go to the weekly format.
Hmm.
And I want to say they were doing this before Disney Plus, but I can't remember exactly. But I know Netflix also now does this with certain shows where it's a weekly kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for me, it does make it harder to watch that way, especially if there's a bunch of things I'm interested in. It makes it a little bit harder for me to watch. So I kind of pick and choose the stuff I watch weekly,
Yeah.
and then in between there, we do the stuff that we can binge. So like Invincible, we've been so busy that we hadn't started season 3 until it was on like episode, or no, we did the first 3 episodes that were out, and then we got busy, and then it was 3 or 4 more. It was 4 more episodes, I think. Then we did those, and then last night when I got done working, we watched the finale, and that
Nice.
finale, going back to Invincible, that finale, Conquest shows up at the very end of episode 7.
Hmm.
This thing starts with their fight, and their fight lasts most of the episode. Like, or not most, I would say a good chunk. So if there was people out there saying that the animation felt a little lacking this season, that's because they put it in this last episode. That
Right.
fight is brutal. That fight is just insane what they do. Like it's balls to the wall as soon as it opens. So
If I knew how to do video shorts, I would be doing video shorts on The Reacher because I am so in love with that show. But if you ever get to the point where you go back to watching Reacher and you want to do like an episode breakdown, I would love to do that. I have been dying for someone to talk Reacher.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I know Sean wants to
We
do
could even
one with
start
me.
with season 1. I don't
Yeah,
care. I've watched him so many times. I could practically act out every episode for you. But I
well,
just love Reacher.
maybe since Invincible's over and I just kind of did a really fast blow by of the entire season. Um, maybe what I'll do for next week is I'll watch 2 or 3 episodes of Reacher, and then we can do a Reacher show. But that it would be a mainly Ed and me commenting.
Cool. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
This last episode of Reacher that dropped yesterday could be the best episode of the entire series of all 3 seasons. It was, oh my god, over the top. The suspense was there. The one-liner was there. Everything was just, perfection. I watched it as soon as it was over. I had to choose between watching that Ma and Meg or whatever, or rewatching Reacher, and I'm like, I'm rewatching Reacher because you said you weren't going to be on that show.
Yeah.
And so I watched it again, and it's so good, so good.
Yeah, I really wasn't planning on it. Like I said, I was busy doing some rearranging in the house, and then Jenna was going to be home. So, unfortunately, like every now and then, I get to stop in that show and tell them hi because I love Mog and Mel. They're
Mhm.
both great folks. And Kyle was like, "Dude, it's the 100th episode. I have not only a lot of people on screen, but I think we had the most people we've ever had in that room." He goes, "And I got this troll here. Is there any way you can come on and kind of moderate?" And I was like, sure. And then, they had Trish Forstner on there. She did a really awesome Scar sketch cover and a dead dog pull sketch cover. And Trish Forstner is just great to begin with. I got the privilege of being able to interview her along with Amanda Dybert or Debert. I always forget how to say her name for the art show once because Nick was busy and he wasn't going to be able to get there in time. So I was able to talk to both of them. I'm a huge fan of Trisha's art. Uh, One of the coolest covers we have, it's buried somewhere, so I can't pull it out. We have a Garrett Gunn's Warcorn's birthday bash special. She did a cover for it, and since it's Warcorn's, it's a My Little Pony style cover. So it's super dope. It's like one of the coolest covers I think we have in our collection. But they had a bunch of cool artists on there. Which dude? Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah. Okay. Nope. Yeah. Nope. You were there for a little bit, weren't you? Yeah. It was just so random because the guy was new and he had been there on the other 2 shows. And Kyle said he was fine at first, and then he just started putting in crap. Like here's what I'm gonna tell y'all about the experience, folks. When we have guests on, if you don't like their art, just keep it to yourself. Like there's no need for comments. Like these people are guests. They come here on their own free will, to help us get views for our channel, to bring awareness to our channel too. So, if it's not your style, most of the people that are on the experience though, y'all are all great. Like I'm never worried. Like I'm never worried about y'all, but there's new people that pop in every once in a while and we don't see them very, very, very long. And that dude, he was pushing it. He was pushing it, and I was the one afterwards that was like, timeout, timeout, timeout. And I don't care. It's not like that guy's ever going to see this. But I don't stand for that. There are people that watch these shows and you know, you got opinions. You can have opinions. We're not telling you not to have opinions, but just be respectful. Like there was a guy a long time ago that said, John needs to can John shut up? And I'm sorry, these are folks that I work with. I'm not going to let people talk to them like that. So that's a delete right there. Like, yeah, John talks a lot, but John's a good dude. So there's no reason at all to be rude to anybody. And like I said, most of our folks that are there, are great people, and I'm not worried about them. But every now and then we get that turd in the punch bowl, if you know what I mean. Kind of feels like somebody, and I won't call this person out. Kind of feels like somebody that's on Friday Night Live. Where they try to be funny, and sometimes they're funny. Most of the time, not really. But it's not bad enough to ban them. But I have deleted their stuff too. Just
I saw air quotes. What'd you do?
let's see which. Oh, I said all the people that on the experience are usually good people, but every now and then we get that turd in the punch bowl.
Ah, gotcha.
Everybody's having a good time, and whether they try to be funny or not, it's there's
Yeah.
yes. Hey man, we might as much as some of y'all are there. I mean,
I've been offering to
oh,
help you
Lord.
out for a year now,
Well,
and I told you ain't got to pay me.
I know. It's Corey. You're not wrong, but you usually don't say it like that. Because trust me, we've all said before. I think he's in his stop asking me to draw era. Like he's older. Maybe he doesn't. He doesn't have the same. I don't want to say resilience. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Maybe he's out of F's to give,
Maybe.
and he just does what he does. Because I'm sure you can reach burnout after as many years as you've been doing something. Especially, if the hands start hurting and the wrists start aching, and it happens.
Yeah. I mean,
Nope
but
is always watching.
yeah, but
Do,
Corey,
do,
you know what I'm saying though. Like, you might say this doesn't look good, and you move on. This dude was like, he kept going. Yeah, and I don't think he does either, man. He's he's a legend. Like
Yep. He's
at
got
this
nothing
point,
left
it's
to prove.
yeah, at this point. But trust me, there's been some stuff that he's done recently where I'm like, he just I don't know, man.
So the troll that you were dealing with was talking bad about the guest. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, like everything was this is mid,
Oh, gotcha.
this is terrible, like just stuff like that. It's just
Little
yeah,
different than the trolls we got. We got the farting one and the burping one.
bro. I will have to say this: the last two shows when we got trolled, it was like I thought it was funny.
Me too.
I like the dude, the person who spent like I think it was something his mommy that spent their time typing every word out about how much Daredevil sucked. Like, dude, you're the one that wasted your time doing that. And
Right.
that's the worst you could do. Like, it sucks a fart out of your butt. That's the worst you could come up with.
Yeah. He was proud of that line too. You could
Yeah.
tell.
But I did learn something though. I got to be quick on it when stuff like that happens. Because yes, I can delete the comment in the chat on, the regular chat, but when it pops up on screen, it doesn't delete. It stays there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember that one too.
You're not talking about polyps, are you?
I can't remember.
Polyps was Rex's show.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the one where I like. That's before we got to the slides,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, this what makes the slides so much better is I can have the slides come like they're on a different part of the screen, right? So they're like its own. Like when we do the giveaways, what it is I put up a different screen. I share the screen, right?
Right.
So the
Right.
screen is at the bottom of the studio. When we do the slides, it's the same thing. I upload the slides to the studio so I can keep chat up and have the slides still going so I can watch the chat. Oh, no, it was like a sequential name. Yeah, I don't remember that one. But back then, the way we used to do it, where it pops up in the where it's an overlay, like on Nick's show, those are overlays. So we have a thing on the side that says media. That's where the overlays, the videos, and the backgrounds are. So I have to go to the media to pop the overlay up. Then I have to go to another folder that says brand and find the ticker that goes across the screen. So it's two different things I have to go to pop the one thing up. So or to have the whole thing up on screen. That's why I like the slides because it's just next and everything pops up at the same time. So when we have the slides and stuff like that, it makes it hard. Or no, when we have the regular way, I can't watch the chat that way. Like when I'm trying to switch things up, I can't watch the chat that way. So during that show, when that person popped up, I had to stop showing stuff because I had to keep being able to ban him and block him. That's why we kind of try to get everybody on the slides. Like Nick is the next one we want to try to get on the slide thing. That way I can be watching the chat because and it's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me, but Nick does have me do other things like, hey, can you look this up and stuff? But then he's like, hey, we got to go to the next thing, and I'm like, dude, I can't do both. Hey, Ricky Spidel, I mean Mydell, what's up, Ricky? Yeah, the hat doesn't contain it anymore, and I'm not getting a haircut until the week before Superman comes out. So I was just like, you know what? I'll just let it go. But yeah, like I in fact, I think it was this past Wednesday. I was telling Make Two, you know, when y'all talk to me while the spots are playing, the only time I can really answer back is when it's a longer spot because each of those spots is a button I have to push. So the spots are set up like video clips. So we play 3 or 4 spots. I play one. When it gets near the end, I got to click the button for another one. So there are times where thank you, Ricky. I appreciate that. Um, there are times where people are trying to talk to me in the chat and I don't answer right away. That's why, because I'm on a different screen because those are in the brands. The chat's in its own thing, and I got to make sure that I time out my spots right, so there's not just a bunch of blank space. So
Were we done with Daredevil?
if unless you had something else to add,
Well, yeah, there's just more of the subtle things
okay, yeah, go
that
ahead.
when he was walking into court, did you notice he was playing with the broken horn
Oh
that
yeah,
came off
yeah,
of his? They're
yep,
they're just all these subtle little things they're doing with the cinematography that's telling you what's to come, and I love it. I just love that kind of storytelling where they're putting it right in your face, but you got to know to be on the know. Otherwise, you don't get it until you do your rewatch later and put it together. But it's so cool finding all these little things during the first watch.
yeah,
And just even his attitude, like last week in episode 2, you could tell he was fighting off the devil. He didn't want to release the devil on those cops. And then the devil came out, and as soon as he pile drive that guy, he like screamed. It reminded me of Darth Vader yelling no at the end of episode 3.
yeah,
It was like, oh, and then this show starts off with the knuckle thing, showing that Kingpin's still Kingpin and Daredevil's gonna be Daredevil, and it's just, and then he's fiddling around with the horn when he's walking into the court
you
and
know,
having that moment you were talking about.
I said last time that Adam's already gone. I don't think Adam's gone. I think Kingpin's just beating him up every episode.
I think you're right. I don't think he's dead either. I think he's got him tied up somewhere and he goes and relieves stress.
I think we might see part of Adam. I think we might see part of him.
Yeah, we might see a part. Yep.
That's another interesting thing. Like, so they're doing the therapy with Matt's girlfriend, right? I find it super funny that all the stuff they should have been talking about with the therapist, they talk about right before she shows up.
Yep.
And I'm like, you can leave out the the crime stuff. But
So, do you think that the popping moment of the series this year is going to be when Kingpin finds out his therapist is Murdoch's girlfriend? Do you think that's going to be the catalyst that he's like he's been scamming me this whole time, or
there's part of me
just
that thinks he already knows that's why they chose her.
oh, okay, maybe I must have
Um,
missed that.
oh, that Lorena. That's look again. I keep telling you every time you say it, but that is so awesome. That is awesome. You're a damn superhero for that, man.
Good for you, Lorena. That's
That is
great.
awesome.
You just made some kid's life. If you can put a smile on a kid's face, you're good in my book. And that's why I always try to push people. If you have old comics you're not going to read, or if you see dollar bin comics, grab them and take them to a hospital and donate them to the kids ward, because those kids' eyes light up when they get a free comic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sitting in there, they're bored, they can't get out of bed. They got Spider-Man to look at, or Iron Man, or the look on the kids' faces will make you feel like $1,000,000.
I was going to say, Ricky, are you cutting your hair off too? But I know, typo, man. It happens a lot. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
dude. Like,
imagine somebody getting Nope's dreads and his
whew,
luscious locks? And
that's like getting the power of Samson right there.
yeah, you put that on a kid, and we got a new Casanova in the future.
My goodness. Tell you, just wait. If you're gonna do that, man, wait till after Halloween because I need to see your dude costume. 'Cause Nope is the dude 100%. He could just play Jeff Bridges in a movie, actually.
He can play Jeff Bridges in any movie. Even that one he was talking about, Lebowski, he looks like that too. But the
Yeah, the
first thing
dude.
I thought of when I saw him, the first thing I thought of was the King Kong movie.
Yeah. No,
He looks just like him.
I thought the dude 100%. I was
Well,
like,
I'd
dude,
never seen the Big Lebowski, so
that movie's crazy.
y-
It's super fun, but it's crazy.
Nope told me to Google it, and I did, and I'm like, yep, I can see that. Yep.
Yeah, autocorrect is no one's friend, Ricky. The dude abides. Yeah, there's just again going back to Daredevil. Like, I guess part of the thing that kind of irritates me is we are only 3 episodes in, and there are some folks that have watched this and just been like, "This is this feels like it's going nowhere," and I'm like, "What do you like?" I don't know. I used to be that person that I never understood how people could be like, how could you watch this? And then there's some things I've been like, yeah, I don't understand how people could like this, but this is something where I'm like, it might feel slower to some folks. For some reason, it doesn't to me. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't felt a slow episode like Rex has yet, or some people that are
Yeah, I
like,
didn't either.
I'm just ready. I'm
Yeah.
just ready for Daredevil, and I'm like, it's gonna get there,
I
and it's
think we
gonna be
get
worth.
ourselves so pumped up that any like I said, we grew up with the crap that we had, and it's crap now. But it was gold back then. So the worst crap they come out with today is better than the stuff that we thought was awesome when we were kids. So even if you don't like it, great. You have your opinion. You can not like it. You don't have to like it, but you don't have to go onto somebody's show where they do like it and just be a jerk about it.
Yeah,
Just don't like it. Don't type anything. Let them enjoy their moment instead of trying to pop their bubble.
yeah. Trust me,
And
theater.
if you haven't watched it and you're just liking it, then you're just an idiot. And I'm sorry, you are. People who dislike something just because it's a fad and don't even give it a try, that's just the
Yeah,
definition of idiot in my opinion.
yeah.
You can't have an opinion on something that you've not experienced. And if you
So,
do, it's not worth anything because you haven't experienced it.
yeah,
So
that's right. That'd be like me saying, and I never would. Oh, can't watch Reacher season 2 because Alan Rich and I don't. I don't think he's a good actor.
To quote your wife, I will fight you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, Alan Richardson's awesome, and so is Paulie, whatever his name is. It's so much like Alan Richardson. Something Richie, the giant.
Oh,
He's Paulie on
Olivier.
the show.
You
He's
can call
Paulie
him
on the
Polly if
show.
that makes it easier. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, he's Paulie on the show, and yeah, those guys. I can't wait to see the epic battle. So far, all we've saw was 2 punches. Reacher punching him in the stomach and him not reacting, and him punching Reeker and knocking him out of his shoes, spinning him around and dropping him on the ground. That's all we've seen so far. And the boy that he's the bodyguard for saw it, and he's like, I thought you weren't afraid of Polly. And he's like, he was faster than I thought. It won't happen again. And I'm like, oh, come on, get to the fight. And I'm just waiting. And then after seeing that interview where that actor said that those are real punches you're seeing connecting, I'm like, oh, I really want to see this fight. I want to see this fight. I want to see this fight. It'll be better than the last fight I saw with Tyson and Paul.
Oh,
Tell you
jeez.
that much.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
More realistic.
yeah. Tell me that Paulie dude don't belong in the WWE though. Holy crap!
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't. Do you ever see? God, was it the first or second? Maybe it was the first Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. The
Yeah.
really really big dude that's in it, or is that the second movie?
I don't remember. It's been too long, but I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah. There's a huge dude in there. That guy is actually Kurgan, who was in the WWF
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yep.
But yeah, that guy, I want to see him in more. Like I thought Thor, the guy who played the one version of the Mountain, because the Mountain had been played by 2 or 3 different people, I think, in Game of Thrones. I thought that was a big dude. And then I saw this dude, and I was like, man, I didn't know they made people that big.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
in the trailer, the best part was when Neely asks him, and this was in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler. Did you beat his ass yet? And he's like, I hope it doesn't come to that. He's twice my size. And Neely says, the last time I saw someone twice your size, he was on Mount Rushmore. I'm like, you're not wrong. But oh, if you're not watching Reacher, you really should be. If you like action, oh, I'm addicted. I love that show. It's my favorite show streaming right now of all of them. I love Reacher,
yeah,
and I know there's going to be 5 seasons at least. And the spin-off series, Alan Richardson did you know how you do those shorts?
mm-hmm.
He did a short because I follow him on Facebook. And he's like, yeah, I'm just here hanging out with some friends. And Neely walks up beside him and she's like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, oh, look, it's another one of my friends from Reacher. How could we both be here at the same time? And then he pans down. He's like, look, there's more people from our show. Wait, we know those guys. And Neely's like, yeah, what are we all doing here? It's not like we're filming a movie. And he's like, yeah, it's not like we're filming your spin-off series, Neely. And he goes, oh, and she looks at him like, oh. So they let it sneak out that they're filming Neely because she's getting a spin-off that Reacher's going to guest star in. So now we're going to have Reacher and Neely both having shows, and they're going to appear on each other's show to help each other.
Amazon, Ricky. And the night to answer your question, I do, man. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but if you don't like it, you don't like it. I happen to like it. I was a huge fan of the Netflix one, and I think they're 3 episodes in. I think they're doing a good job. But if you don't like it, it's all good, man.
Yep. We don't all have to like the same thing.
Yeah.
You just remind me of another thing with Foggy, though, when they did the little toast with the bourbon to Foggy. That was a good scene, too.
Mm-hmm. I see. I know Reacher. Their books.
Reacher's, yeah, they're novels. I don't think there's a comic. If there is, I need to find it immediately, but I don't think there is. But there's been 25 novels of Reacher. And I found out something that I didn't know. The author of Reacher, I can't think of his name. I think it's Lee. His last name's Lee or something, or I can't remember. He is in the last episode of season 1 of Reacher. I knew the guy looked familiar, but it's him. He bumps into Reacher coming into the restaurant for the very last scene of season 1. And that's the author that created Reacher, wrote all the novels.
Like I said, I remember from the bit of the first season I watched, I knew I was going to love it. I just have not been able to get back on it, but Reacher is on my list. It's something I am excited to go through because I really like Alan Richardson anyway.
I'd love to do a breakdown with you. That would be so much fun.
Well, that's probably what we'll do next week. I'll at least watch 2 or 3 episodes. I'll at least do that, and because we can spend a couple hours
of season 1, or
season 1.
Okay, cool.
Because man, it's been so long since I've watched season 1. I'm gonna have to go back and the main thing I remember is the very beginning when he walks to the diner before. That's the part, and the part about when he goes to the hotel room and the drunk kids are there.
Yep. Here's another trivia from the trivia nerd here. It's the first ever streaming show where the star doesn't speak for the first 7 minutes and 45 seconds. He does not speak for the first time until 7 minutes and 45 seconds into the first episode. Stupid little trivia, but you know me.
That's good. The only reason I can give you, boss, is for some reason it intrigued me with what they're doing. Like I said it too the first episode that I did think the CGI was a little wonky. But after that, they hooked me with the story. And again, if it wasn't your thing, dude, then it wasn't your thing. I'm saying for me personally, it's only 3 episodes in, and outside of the janky CGI for me, I've personally been enjoying it. So
I haven't noticed any CGI since that first fight either.
Well, I think it's just because there hasn't been any Daredevil zipping across rooftops
flying
yet.
like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. Canned cocktails.
What is a canned cocktail?
That is what folks are talking about in the chat.
Wow, I haven't been reading the chat. I've been going off on Reacher.
Yeah.
So what's a canned cocktail? A cocktail, is this something you can buy and drink or what?
Let's see, where did this start?
Monaco mixed cocktails in a can. Of course it's from Nope. Who else would it be from? Oh no, it was from Corey.
Corey.
Now I want one.
Grapefruit Crush.
Purple Crush. Ooh. All right, you guys, now you need to tell us where you find these things.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drinker, but I'll try something every now and then.
I don't drink much either, but once in a while I enjoy a nice beverage.
Lorena, I wouldn't have it any other way. You got to treat it like Friday, but it's Saturday.
If I was stuck watching Ed and Jay talk, I'd want to get drunk too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm curious to know how many more reds you went through, Lorena. You were at 4 or 5 on the show. We thought you got blocked. Well, you know what, I can't say the story goes nowhere until we get to the last episode. They very well could do something where I'm like, okay, they kind of, for lack of a better term, shit the bed, but they haven't done it for me yet. And yeah, there's plenty of stuff that not just Disney alone, but comic book wise, it hasn't been up to par. So the like that's the only reason I can give you, man. Like, sorry if that's not the one you're looking for, but I enjoy it. I think it's good so far, and we'll just have to see where it goes.
Yeah, there's still 6 episodes left. It could go anywhere.
Hmm. Like originally, I think the first plan they were doing, they were going to release it as a 18 episodes, but then they split it when they did this restructuring
Hmm.
to make the 2 seasons. So that's why we're actually getting the next season next year instead of
Right.
like how we usually have to do and wait 2 or 3 years. And just liquor stores everywhere here. Well,
Do me a favor, Nope, and IM me what the name of these things are. I want to see if I can find them. I want to try that purple one. I've never heard of them before, and I'll forget the name by the time this show's over.
like I said, now your opinion is very appreciated as well. But it's just one of those things where I'm gonna have to learn myself. If I get towards the end and it ends up letting me down, then it will. But I haven't seen Falcon Winter Soldier to say anything on that, to be honest with you. So I can't say anything about that. I enjoyed WandaVision for what it was, but there's been some stuff. I'll have to admit, there's been some stuff that's been pretty lackluster to me. Ant Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I didn't really dig it. So
This is really the first MCU series that I've dove into. I tried Shield, but for me that was so boring, and I thought their explanation for how they brought him back was just insane. And I was disappointed that it didn't have any of the big stars in it. But I've never
yeah,
even seen one episode of WandaVision or the Falcon, either one. The only other one I watched was She-Hulk, and that was only because Dan wanted to do a show on it, and I wanted to be able to talk to him about it. And I enjoyed it, but I hated that last episode where they basically said that everything else that had happened never happened. To me, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. But talking about the Monaco ones, I brought up Cutwater. Huh.
yeah.
I have to try those. Oh no, I didn't like Love and Thunder either, Lorena. That was horrible. The first
No,
time the goat screamed, it was funny. The 55th time, it was just plain annoying.
and the Nye, I'm being honest with you, man. I'm not being facetious with you. I appreciate your thoughts. I really do. So I'm not being a jerk about it. I mean that. I appreciate your opinions and your thoughts, but like I said, it's just gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to watch it for myself and see how it goes. It might be one of the best things to me. Maybe near the end of it, it won't be, but I I'm gonna continue watching it because I myself am enjoying it so far. But I really do appreciate you stopping in and giving us your thoughts on stuff, man. I do.
And I have no problems calling a stinker either. So if it does end up sucking, I'll be right there with you.
Yeah, Love and Thunder to me, like if we're getting, let's switch gears because I don't want to trash things. I don't. That's not what I want it to be about. But I can honestly say that Love and Thunder to me was because they swung the pendulum too far in that direction.
Yeah, they're
If
making
you,
him out to be a dumb blonde. I
yeah,
don't like that.
if you look at Thor and even Thor: The Dark World, you know those are more serious. Even Ragnarok, which I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't like Ragnarok. I still don't like it better than the first two Thor movies. That's just me. But I think once they started making it a little too silly,
Yeah.
and Ragnarok did actually do kind of well, that they were like, okay, we're going to pedal to the metal in that direction. And then we get Love and Thunder, and I didn't like Love and Thunder at all.
Yeah, that sucked.
So,
I didn't like it either.
and I dug Shang-Chi because, thank you, Nye. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You have a good night too. Thanks for stopping by.
Come on back anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, So Shang-Chi, I didn't know anything about that character. So that had me excited to see it. And I did dig it. Sean says that even if you're not a superhero fan, that felt like a really good kung fu action type movie. I think he said he even got his dad to watch it. His dad liked it. So
The only thing I didn't like about Chang-Chi's movie was the third iteration of the Ten Rings again. And it's like, come on, guys, decide what the Ten Rings are and let's move on. You've already ruined it twice, and now you're doing it again. And then I think that was supposed to be without saying Fin Fang Foom. Was that supposed to be Fin Fang Foom at the end of that?
I want to say that's what Robbie was telling. Was it Robbie that was telling us that he
I
popped in
don't
one time?
remember.
And I
I've
was like,
heard it before, but I didn't really think it was that great of a movie. I thought it was okay. I enjoyed the action scenes, and it kind of reminded me of watching like those old Bruce Lee type movies, which when I'm in the mood, I can watch those and have fun with them. But it's just the whole rings thing was a turn off for me again.
my issue with that, the only issue that I really had with that was I was just like, why didn't you make it rings?
Hmm.
Why wasn't it rings? Like,
Right.
and also I was still, do I kind of like the character of Trevor Slattery now? Yes. Was I super pissed when we found out he wasn't the Mandarin? Ben
Yes.
Kingsley wasn't the Mandarin in Iron Man? Yes. But they tried to correct that with the short of the 10 ring short that they did. The I can't remember what they called those little MCU things,
Yeah.
but
But they've done it in the original Iron Man. That's what they called the
Mhm.
terrorist team that kidnapped Tony.
Yeah, they were part of the 10 rings.
And then all of a sudden they give us the Mandarin with the 10 rings and I'm all excited and then no, he's a hippie stoner that's just acting. Okay. So then they come to the Chang-Chi movie and now the 10 rings are I'm like, dude, make up your mind what the 10 rings are or just forget about them cuz you're irritating me more.
Yeah, but I do have to agree with Corey on that. It might not have been the best, but I thought it was a little bit better than some of the other movies that they had out
Oh,
around that time.
you're not going to get any argument out of me, especially the Sony ones are garbage, but there's been
Yeah,
some stinker MCU ones. I know people like it.
I
Sorry, I
know.
don't. The
I
Marvels can't stand it. I tried liking or wanting to like that Eternals. I think it sucks. It's boring. I can't stand it. Love and Thunder. Ugh. And then this is like off topic, but that last Wonder Woman movie I thought was a piece of junk too.
Yeah, that was. I don't know
I don't know
they
what they
were
were
thinking with
thinking. It
that.
was just terrible.
Yeah, I don't get how they went from the first Wonder Woman movie was amazing. That No Man's Land scene still is one of the coolest scenes. I think.
You know, maybe that's why we're so accepting of like the Daredevil show and everything, is
Could
because
be.
we've had all this. I don't like disrespecting stuff, but ungood things that we've been watching and it's been getting flooded. And that's what made me think that they were just throwing out anything anymore. They weren't even trying because some of these movies were just so bad.
Yeah.
But now, Daredevil, at least it's a coherent story. They're telling a good story.
Yeah.
Is it exactly like Netflix? No, but it wasn't going to be exactly like Netflix because Marvel doesn't want to be like Netflix.
Yeah.
They're going to do their own twist on it. But at least it's a good
Oop, hold
story.
on.
Oh my
What are you
goodness.
doing? What are you doing? He's over here scratching his leg and he scratched it too hard. Jesus.
Wow. I thought maybe he was like saying Daredevil sucked.
No,
But
she's not. Like I said, she's not here. That's his person. So he's like right up under my desk.
yeah. Poor puppy. Did he hurt himself?
No, he's okay. He does that when he gets when he gets scared. Like if you
Oh,
scare him, he yells like that. He does it when he's hurt too, but most of the times because I caught him, it was I startled him.
yeah.
You poor mistreated thing. He's fine, y'all. He is.
I
He's just
found out more. Speaking of, I found out more about what happened with my niece. If you want to hear about it.
yeah.
So the dog was 11. So they've had him 11 years. I knew he was older. And she was crawling into bed, and he was already in bed. But this is something they had done 100,000 times before. And he swerved around and bit her when she was crawling into bed. Maybe she startled him. But this is the part I didn't know. All he did was nip her cheek. Then he dug in and launched at her. That's the part where I was like, okay, that wouldn't fly. And that's when he practically bit her nose off. So I excused the first one, but the second one, no. So I'm glad that, I'm not glad that a puppy had to die, but they did the right thing putting it down, because if he would do that to someone he's known for 11 years, if he's going to do that to a stranger or a kid, or
Yeah.
because she's a stylist, a dog stylist. She cuts hair, she grooms for dogs and cats, and she's starting her own business, so she's going to have other dogs and cats in her house,
Mm,
and you can't have that. And that's why I knew something weird had to be going on, because she's been handling strange dogs and cats for 15 years, grooming them for various shops. But yeah, that's the story behind it. And she was able to get 16 of the 20 stitches out. They had to leave the other four. The glue looks like it's going to hold good on the bottom part of her nose.
mm,
And the plastic surgeon doesn't think she's going to need follow-up surgery, but she is going to have a scar. And she said she don't care about having a scar, as long as it isn't going to look deformed or anything. So, yep. Yeah, very true. Nope.
that is. We have our younger niece that used to get in Hand's face, and I'm not worried about Hand. Like I know that's a weird thing to say hearing this. Of course, I'm not worried about that, but he'll boop you. He won't bite, but he sure headbutt her when she got too close. Like knocked her down and scared her, and it wasn't his fault because we told her, don't get in his face. He'll let you love on him, but he doesn't like when if it's not me or Jenna, he doesn't like people getting in his face. So we tell people that before they come in. Like he's a good boy, but for whatever reason he doesn't like people in his face. So that's just I don't know. I just couldn't imagine. Like, has he nipped at me before? Yeah, when I was walking by. Not anything hard, but just he's a healer,
Hmm.
and for some reason they have this weird. They don't. It's not a bite to like hurt you. It's like he thinks you're going somewhere. He wants you to stay, or he wants to move you somewhere. He won't bite, but it's more like a nudge.
Yeah.
But if you're not expecting it, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, by the way, Jay,
Hmm.
when you have a spare time, I sent you a meme that I made about 6, 7 years ago to your Facebook.
Okay.
So you'll know instantly why I'm bringing it up when you look at it.
Okay.
But, but overall, I think Daredevil's off to a rocking start.
Yeah.
Reacher's kicking it out of the park. Oh my god. I
Yeah.
can't believe there's only 2 episodes left in season 3 already. It's been 6. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah. Trust me, I know that my the my mom's dog was a pretty good sized dog. Razor since she was a puppy. We actually had to put her down not that long ago. Just because she was old and it was time.
Yeah.
Um, One time she got in my dad's face and she was playing around with him. And she had this thing where when she wanted your attention, it was the paw. Well, this dog caught my dad in the mouth and knocked a tooth out.
Oh wow.
He ended up having to go to Mexico to get the tooth fixed. But she she's another one of she was another one of those dogs that no matter how big she was, she thought she was a lap dog.
Oh yeah.
So she was a brute that didn't know her own strength at that time. And I mean, that paw just came down and just whacked him right in the mouth and just boom, knocked that tooth out. He thought it was funny. Like, so it's not like he was real mad about it. He thought it was funny. He was just like, "Holy shit!"
Hmm.
Yeah. Whenever she wanted, she used to do it to Jenna too. Jenna, not pop her in the face, but Jenna would be laying on the couch, and if Jenna wasn't paying attention to her, that big old ham fist would come up and pop her on the leg. She's like, "I'm right here. You're not petting me."
The pot of the face reminded me of another spot of that interview with Polly that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
He said that Reacher caught him, or Alan caught him with a hook, and his upper teeth went through his lip. They were
Oh,
going that hardcore on the set. That's like, damn. So, like I said, I really want to see this fight. They've been talking about it the whole season. I want to see it.
wow.
It sounds like it's going to be amazing. But the best thing is that they're best friends now, and it was all they just wanted to go all out for the show. But it's like, holy cow, dude,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
going hardcore.
There are some of the scenes in the first season I remember, especially when he goes to the prison or goes to the jail,
Yeah.
and that one guy comes in. He's like, you came into my house,
Oh yeah,
and then he
he came into my office, fat ass, and you didn't say please. I'm gonna
and,
count to 3. See, I told you I can act the whole damn thing out.
yeah, and he just gets that dude's face right against that bed frame and just starts elbowing the
Oh
crap out
yeah,
of him. I was like, oh my
you,
god,
you owe us a pair of glasses. I
yeah,
love that show. He has some of the best one-liners, I swear to God. But that one he threw last night about coffee, that was by far the best one.
oh that's hilarious.
I can't remember if Nope watches Reacher or not.
Oh no, do you? I can't remember that either. I can't remember if he said he needs to start watching it or
I got to get y'all on board, man. That'll be a fun show.
yeah, that's definitely a show that I would also want to get Dan on.
I've thought about putting that. I've thought about if I knew how to do shorts, I would do them on my channel for Reacher as practice. But I have no idea how to do them. I don't know how you get like the picture. You know how you put a picture in frame with you when you're talking about them?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I don't know how to do. Once I figure that stuff out, because I would love to be doing Reacher spoilers, kind of like Triple B is doing Daredevil. I would love to do that, and if I get good at it, I would cover every episode of every season and just put them out there. Not that a million other people aren't doing it, but that's something I'm passionate about. That's not comics. That I would easily be able to talk Reacher with anybody. And Dan, oh my God, him and I and oh, Bert Beard, what's his first name? Used to
Jim?
do, yeah, Jim. The three of us would sit there typing Reacher. Back, I was typing, they were talking. During the other seasons, it was so much fun. But to have like a live talk and get Dan in, oh my God, I would Reacher. I'd have my Reachergasm.
Yeah,
Thank you, no, thank you,
that's
appreciate
true.
it.
We had almost given up on them. We had tried them early on, and it was just we were doing quick reviews of things like hey, these are comics you should look out for, stuff like that. And I happened to do the very first Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that they had on Super Bowl Sunday, and I reacted to it, and I made a short out of that. And that was the first thing we ever had hit 1,000. Like the
See,
fact
that's
that
what I want to do. I want to be able to do like where you have the a little bit of it in the background and just talk and do the
Mhm.
short.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to do the video part. And I don't know how much of it can you show before they say you're showing copyright and kick you off or whatever.
Well, I can tell you this, there's fair use stuff. And if you were just doing a short, the longest you can do a short, hold on. Stop, relax. The longest you can do a short now is up to 3 minutes.
Okay.
So you could have the video playing and no audio.
But
And
I don't know how to get that on the screen.
oh well,
That's what I'm struggling with. I don't know how to do that stuff. I've never been a I've been a producer and I've been an executive producer, but I've never been the guy that does the technical live stuff. I know how to do it other than the live stuff where you input a video. I don't know how to do that yet.
yeah,
Uh,
because we have, most of the time, if you see a short with my face on it, it's either like that Daredevil one I just did. That was just something super quick. Most of
mhm.
mine are faceless. Like next week, tomorrow, I have one that I'm putting together and one or two more that I'm going to record and put together for next week. I'm coming back with some shorts for some comics you should read and comics I should read kind of deal. So most of the time I do faceless ones, and it's just downloading pictures and yeah, screen record is usually how I get the video part.
And I was also going to do a short on my daughter's book, but I got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
And when I'm working so many hours, it ain't like I have tons of time to play. And I have to get over the obsession with coming up with a song because I'm just obsessed with that. And I got to stop.
take care, Corey. Thanks for stopping by.
Later, Corey. See you
Yeah,
25 times this week on Experience.
yeah, but yeah, like when whenever you get whatever program that you're gonna go with, uh,
I'm going to go with what you're using because you're going to be my go-to. How do I do this person?
yeah, like I said, because it has it set up to where like when you do shorts, you have that aspect ratio. You can and from where you can record and do everything in there. That's the main reason I use it. It's because I also can record in there.
Yeah.
So I
And I
get
think
shorts
I'm going to
on.
change my channel's name. I think narrowing it down to just comics is gonna trap me in a corner because I want to talk about things like Reacher. I want to talk about things like, some of the stuff that we go off on tangent. So I got to figure out a name that works better. But I just loved that icon that I came up
Yeah.
with.
And I mean that's totally up to you. But remember, our channel is called Hydrasylum Comics, and we talk about some stuff that has nothing to do with comics at all.
That's true.
It's
That's
just
true.
it's just there to make it searchable.
That's true. But I was thinking maybe drop the word comics off and just make it Edward loves horror or good night right now.
Take care, Lorena. Yeah,
It sounds like the terrible storms that are supposed to get here aren't coming. So I didn't think I'd be on this long. They were talking about 80-mile-an-hour winds and tornadoes and all that stuff, and we've only had a sprinkle so far. It's been windy as crap all day today, but not that windy.
yeah. I think right now is the coolest it's been all day. It's 64 degrees here now.
Dude, it got up to 74 today, and for that in March in Michigan is obscene. We're not usually that warm until May. And yes, I did say obscene because I don't like heat. 74 I can handle though. 74 is okay. But when you crazy people, you know how you say my negative 12 is a checking account?
Hmm.
Your temperatures are like speeding tickets. That should not happen. No. No, 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 no. It should never get hotter than 75. It can get as cold as it wants, but never hotter than 75.
Yeah, and here I am. It's like it can get as hot as it wants. Just don't drop below 75.
See, I was talking with Sean and we were talking about how cool it would be if we could all get together and like binge watch for a couple days. I'm like, I would love to come see y'all, but you got to pick a time when it's like human temperatures and not heat miser temperatures because I am not one of the little minions breathing fire.
Hey,
I'm more like the snowmeister guy. If I'm gonna come visit, it's got to be doable weather.
Texas these days is colder more than it is hot.
Okay.
Like we're just now starting to get livable J temperatures because I'm a baby when it comes to the cold. I hate the cold so much.
Mm.
Woo. Yeah, 100 with a heat index of 110. Ooh.
Nope, I'm working too, but I'm working in the basement with 3 fans on and the AC running. There's no way I'm working outside. Thank God we rarely see 100. We usually only hit 90 once or twice a year, but there's been some years where we've hit 90 for, I think 2 summers ago. It's either 2 or 3 summers ago. We had 14 days in a row over 90, and I was so over it. I'm like, bring on the snow, get this Christmas tree out. I am sick of this shit. I don't want this shit no more. It needs to go away.
Oh, I know, buddy. Yes, I know. We're fixing to. We're fixing to.
Poor puppy.
I know. He's like, all right, man. You got to end it soon because I'm gonna have to go outside soon because Jenna's not here to let him out.
Well, we can end it whenever you're ready, bro.
Well, like I said, I didn't have. Shh, stop. Let me end it and then we'll go. He's a talker.
If
y'all haven't noticed.
Now, can you stay after for just a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, just for a minute. I won't
Yeah.
keep you. Thanks, everybody. It was great seeing y'all. Hail Hydra, and I'll catch you next time.
All right. Let me go ahead and drop out Eddie there. Everyone, as always, I appreciate it. Almost 3.5 hours. I honestly wasn't even expecting to go that long, but we did. Again, I'm gonna be trying to do a Daredevil episode every week. Felt like a turkey on Thanksgiving. Trying to do a new episode every week. Again, we are, from when I started the show, 1 sub away from 600. So if you're watching on the rewind, you haven't yet, like, share, comment, subscribe, join the conversation. Even if you don't agree with things I have to say, it's all right. As long as we're respectful, everyone's opinion, is good. But the only thing I ask is just be respectful of everyone's opinion. So, like I said, folks, appreciate you being here. Nope. Hopefully we'll be able to have you maybe next week or something. Maybe watch an episode or two of Reacher, so you can be on here to talk. If not, love having you in the chat, boss. Hopefully everything works out for y'all. You get your power back soon. But that is going to do it all for me, folks. I'm going to do my hanging in the air wave. Thank you all for being here. You all have a safe and awesome week. Hopefully I'll see you on the experience. And take care. Later.